All right, we are back, huh? We're back at the 9 Club, everybody. Today, we have a very special guest. Mr. Nate Sherwood is with us. I appreciate you being here, dude. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm honored to be here, sir.
Yeah.
I'm happy you keep me motivated.
Okay. I keep you. Well, how do I keep you motivated?
It's one of those situations, where like you decorskate things and you're creative, and all those attributes put together, is just. I know how to articulate it. Really,
Are we gonna?
There's a certain je ne sais quoi to it that can't be worded in anything I know in my vocabulary, I suppose.
Are we gonna have to learn a new language on this episode?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, it's kind of like Catalonian. When you're Barcelona, right? It's Catalonian, not Spanish. There,
the Catalan out there.
Catalan. Yeah, exactly. Like Salvador Dali, right? It's like Catalan.
Yeah.
Like,
and the Spaniards don't even understand.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's crazy. Like you go to Madrid and it's a whole different language than Barcelona.
Yeah.
And most Americans don't know that. And of course, us skaters do because we practically live in Barcelona. We all try to immigrate there, and then they kick us out.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's tried. We all tried to hook up with chicks over there. Everyone's tried it. Like everything.
Yeah.
We're like, I'm gonna marry this Catalonian woman, and then she like divorces them, and then they're back here 6 months later. Brian Lottie like hid out there for years.
A lot of skaters have.
Yeah, Justin Strubing. Yeah, tons.
A lot of skaters
tons.
have.
I tried to defect, and I kept getting kicked out.
They didn't want you.
They didn't want me. They looked at me.
That's fine.
Look at me, dude. Like, they're like, we do not want this crackhead here. He's crazy and hyper. Get him out of here.
I think that's French.
I think that's French. Yeah, I know.
French.
That was a very bad Catalonian accent. You're right. That was French. I was fucked.
They did not want us here.
It was so bad. Right when I did it, I was like, fuck.
Would you want us to start the episode over? No. Would you want us to scratch all that?
No.
Okay.
I'll roll the French accent. I don't do good accents. Let
me ask you a question.
I do good pronunciations.
First of all, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm honored to be here, man.
I think that people, man, I mean, like it's so funny because for me, we knew you because you made an impact on the skateboarding industry because you had the pressure flips. Like that was your go-to. That was your...
That was the only thing you really did, right?
That was it, man. One trick pony, bro.
No, but
I'm like the James Brown of skateboarding,
But it was
two beats, 4 on the floor,
It wasn't a one-trick pony. You had different variations of you had the 360 pressure flip, you had the backside 180 pressure flip, you had the frontside pressure flip, you had the switch front, you had every type of pressure flip.
Lots of variations.
A lot of variations. But what was up with the pressure flips? Yeah. Why did you get so... But everybody loved it though. That's the thing. Is like you were so well embraced. Even when pressure flips, it was like a no to do them, and everybody was like the pressure flips went out the door.
Oh yeah, when they were hated, it was a lot of fun. It made it even more interesting. I kind of liked it.
Really?
I still love getting our Jake Phelps skin with it. Like, I would just do it to torture him,
But everybody loved it at the same time though. Why the pressure flips? Let's start it off with that. Why? Yeah. I mean, that was the most well-known thing.
Yeah, I mean. It was interesting, I've been skateboarding since 1987. I grew up in the times of Rip Grip and launch ramps and, Eric Dressen and Scott Oster and shout out Tim Jackson from down the street, et cetera. And that was the fabric I was mostly, I guess you could say, seduced by in skateboarding was the traditional, route.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved just doing my normal no complies and my bonelesses, my tail blocks, whatever,
Oh, so you did have other tricks.
Oh, yeah. Of course. And you can find old footage of me, like actually Cameron Sanchez at the Right Channel put together a video somewhere. It's like Nate Sherwood's high school years, and you can find like all kinds of just traditional skateboarding of me. And actually, there's another video part somewhere buried that someone edited me, like just took stuff off YouTube. It was like Nate Sherwood's only non-pressure flip part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's somewhere out there.
Okay, maybe JC could pull it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like...
We have high school years. Yeah, is that good?
I don't think I've ever seen you do a kickflip, ever.
Yeah, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
And
that part,
couple.
the kickflip... Wow.
Oh, the high school years might have pressure flips in it. I might be hallucinating. You know what? This does have pressure flips in it. My bad.
No, it's okay.
There's another one.
But that wasn't the only thing.
But the non-pressure flip part and... Honestly, there's that ribbon mic one at the very end. There's some non-pressure flips. But yeah, you get the point. There's, here we go. This outledge at Lincoln High School in Portland, Oregon right here. I almost hit a hobo right here. And my friend that filmed it, the bro cam right here, look how he didn't pan down. Look how he fucking blew that. Yeah. Look how much he blew that. You see that? Like, didn't even pan down, like just kept it straight out. Like,
you got
cool.
the manuals and everything.
Yeah.
But again, why?
This video part actually sucks. And I look at it. Get this out of here. This is horrible. This is bad. This is garbage. Look, hey, look, Huntington Beach Park. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that, right? Wow,
I forgot we were talking about that.
I forgot I even did that. I forgot I even went there. Man.
Okay.
Wait, yeah. Why?
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a good,
what
that's
happened
a good
to
question,
the
man.
pressure flips? Wow.
God, so when I was 13 years old, I tore 2 ligaments in my lead foot, on my front foot.
Okay.
So my kick flips went to shit in a handbasket.
You were already skating at 13?
Oh, okay. I was skating at age 7.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
My first board was a Tom Grhalski Vision that my older sister's friend down the street hooked me up with. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like my older sister, she would hang on the driveway and there's all these Hesh dogs that were like ripping the neighborhood. Shout out to Eric Lundy and Pete Ness and all these other dudes I later would meet that were older dudes. They had the launch ramp. It was like the beginning of Thrasher. They just bombed the hill from my parents' house and power slide. And, they're all misfit shirts. They're just like super Hesh, and they were just super cool, super nice guys. They called me Noodle because I had like a rat tail. And, I learned rock and rolls, all your normal lip tricks and stuff. And then I tore a ligament. I was literally trying to be Jason Lee, like all of us, I suppose. I was doing a tailfoot one foot tail grab. Sorry, I said that dyslexic, but ollie 1 foot tail grab. And my front foot got caught from my board, and I rolled my ankle so hard when I was 13 that I tore 2 ligaments in there, right? Okay. So I'm on crutches, la-di-da-di, the typical skateboard story. And at those times, it was physical therapy wasn't like it is now. Kinesiology wasn't where it is now. Therabands weren't even around. It wasn't, no one gave a fuck. It was just heal and go back to school and learn arithmetic, whatever, right? And so at 13, my ankle just didn't bend right. It just wasn't flicking right. And I met Chris Fissel. I grew up across the river from Chris Fissel in Portland, Oregon. He was killing on the pressure flips. He's like, dude, you can do this with your back foot. Check it out. You can still get that wonderful meditative feeling of watching your board spin and flip under you in that rush without having to flick. Okay. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, this is dope, dude.
This was early 90s.
Early 90s, yes. Yeah, by this point, it was, I was 13 in 91. So
91, okay.
Yeah, I had to think about that. I was like, wait, when was that? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So I met him, and I was skating at Waterfront Park, and he taught me the art of the pressure flip. You know what I mean? He was like my sensei. He was my Mr. Miyagi,
So we owe it all to
Chris Fissel. Yeah, Chris Fissel.
Okay.
Yeah, New Deal, man. Shout out to Ron Carnegie and Rick Abaceta, and, all those guys are my inspirations behind him, really. You know what I mean? And these dudes were just dope like a pounder a key, man. Rippers, man. You know what I mean? And
dope like a what?
A pounder a key. That's an old. That's
a pounder a key.
Yeah, that's an old Ice Cube reference. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's not my original material, But, I don't want to plagiarize here.
No,
Ice Cube sent me a cease and desist.
I want to make sure
Ice Cube's gonna watch the show and be like, "Yo, man, I said that like 35 years ago. I'm gonna fucking take you to court over that." But
So Chris Fissel taught you the pressure flips,
and I was depressed like a clutch, because I couldn't cape flip or heel flip very well anymore. They were really mobbed out and horrible, and just they didn't, how it was. They didn't look clean.
Right.
How you guys we're our own worst critics. Yeah. I've always viewed skateboarding as a performance art that masquerades as a sport. And by saying that, I mean it pretends to be a sport in the sense that to get corporate involvement, to get parents involved, to get communities involved, to get skate parks built, to get people interested in keep our industry alive, we have to pretend it's a sport so people can understand it, right? They're like, oh, it's competitive. Look, I can get my kids in this. Johnny will love this, right? But to us, it's more of a performance art. It's more like ballet. It's more like modern dance, right? Kung Fu, whatever, right? We're, Capoeira, whatever. We're more like, we're sitting there going to these esoteric worlds that no one outside of it's going to understand. It's like jazz music. Like, I was at the Village Vanguard a month ago with my wife in New York, and, I'm watching these jazz heads clapping for certain things and other things they're not clapping for. I'm like, I don't know the difference. But then I was like, okay, this is the difference between someone pushing Mongo and someone doing a nose mail and someone doing a tray flip, nose mail, nollie flip out. Okay. God, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like one of those situations I'm like, I don't know anything about jazz, but I'm enjoying it. But all these guys that are real aficionados are sitting here like, yeah, that was good. And other people are like, oh, And I was like, all right, I get it. Like the difference between John Coltrane and, if Nate picked up a saxophone is profound, right? So I look at skateboarding a lot more like jazz, you know what I mean? In my opinion. So, when I got devastated by not being able to do kick flips and heel flips very well anymore, and my loft was off and my ollies were shit, You know, again, there's tons of footage out of me doing 360 melon grabs over spine ramps, and I was skating like Ad McNatt in the early '90s. Whatever. There's footage out there on YouTube. I don't know where. I'm sure Bagley can pull it up if you look around for the non-video.
We got JC back there, JC.
Oh, JC, big shout, JC. But there's tons of footage of me. Even at the end of that ribbon bike thing, there's some stuff. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, look at that. '89. Look at me at EMB.
Yeah, the
Is that cool? EMB. Yeah, there I'm at Burnside. Check it out. Yeah, Burnside right there. Yeah, the timeline. That's the best. There I am at Burnside.
Look at his kid.
Isn't that great? Look at my shorts. Hey, look, I already had a pressure whip right there, man. Yeah, this is like
old '90s kid.
Yeah, look at this is the best. When I noticed like this, Matt Beach filmed this of me, by the way.
No way.
He's behind the camera on that. Yeah, isn't that great?
Really?
And I cheered so much, he gave me such a hard time. If you hear the audio on that, he's like, shut up, Nate. Because I went
Switch Barrel Heel?
Yeah, Switch Barrel Heel. Yeah, Switch Barrel Heel.
That's
Yeah.
the first footage I've ever seen of you actually like using both feet.
The evidence is out there. It's just like UFOs; they exist. There's a pressure. I started doing a lot of pressure. Look at my Donnie Barley wife beater. Telling
Big
her,
inspiration there.
Yeah, my inspirations. Yeah, I'm so happy you guys found this. The timeline video. Yeah, that's got a lot.
Tracking on that.
Oh yeah, it was bad. It was old resolution loss, but yeah, I mean, there's some pressures intertwined with normal tricks in here and
That
stuff.
was insane.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So you were trying to.
Yeah.
So not only when your ankle went to shit.
Yeah.
And you were talking about being jazz and all this stuff and everything. So you were trying to.
I was actually, to be honest, I've always kind of like smoke screened it by saying, I was just enjoying myself and going out there. But really what it was is I was envious of those who had ankles that worked still.
Okay.
And I was so jealous. Like I remember seeing Harold Hunter in One-Handed Sky Picture doing a laser flip, right? That was the first laser flip I saw. I know it came out in the Alien Workshop video, et cetera, et cetera. But the first time I saw it with my eyeballs was Harold Hunter doing it. And I was like, I want to do that. And my heel wouldn't do it. So I did it pressure one day. And I was like, ooh, I can build off the normal Chris Fissel.
Wait a minute. So when you did that, did you hang your front foot off like a heel flip?
I did. And a lot of people thought it was a laser flip. But back before high-speed cameras and good shutter speed, of course. Sometimes I would just be like, thanks, man, whatever.
Right.
Depending on how stoned I was or whatever was going on in my life at that time. Some people I was like, just call it whatever you want. It's cool.
Right.
And some people I'd correct if they were really granular, like, well, what was that? I was like, well, it was a laser pressure flip. But then other people, they're like, whoa, nice laser flip. I'm like, thanks, dude. And I just skate off like, there I'm at Burnside, man. I helped build some of that.
Did you?
Yeah,
Pressure flips at Burnside.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I love the fact that Nate Sherwood helped build a part of
Isn't it insane?
Burnside.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about me, man. Helped build that little mini spine.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Red Scott gave me a shovel. I went down there one day. My mom dropped me off. He had a big dip and shoe in his mouth. He was like, hey, kid, no one skates for free. Here's a shovel. Pile this dirt up and get this chicken coop wire laid out. I was like, okay. Like, I was a little kid, a little grommet, all scared shitless of this big burly dude. It was great.
Did people clown you for the pressure flips back then?
It depended. Some people did. There was always the cool guys that were just very elitist and harsh and condescending, but then there was the guys that just didn't give a fuck. Like guys like Dan and Sean Lafferty, Matt Beach was cool, Jamie Fortune, Rockman Chung, Marcel. I could go on. They were always cool.
Well, what's interesting too, let me stop this real quick. Because pressure flips were in.
They were.
Everybody in the early 90s, where you were saying, like, everybody was doing them.
Right.
And I'm sure at that point, everybody was like, oh, Nate's the pressure flip king. He could do whatever pressure flip he wants.
I got so many girlfriends from that in high school, man. That was my nickname, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dudes would walk in the hall, you're the pressure flip king. And I'd be like, yeah, ladies, I'm the pressure flip king. They're like, what's the pressure flip? I'm like, you want to come over? I'll show you. I'm telling you, that was the only, I'm short, pale, and ugly. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome, so my only game was my skating.
Okay.
I'm happy that the camera lenses are breaking, because my face is so ugly. But like, it was always like, that was my thing, So yes, that's literally what they call me, man. PFK, bro. That was really nice. King, man.
They did not.
Like, it was the best thing ever when you're skating down Main Street. Like, I remember skating down.
Nate, are you kidding me right now?
I'm not even joking.
I just said that because
no exaggeration. I'd be skating down Powell Boulevard in Portland, Oregon. I remember, and I was on this date with this chick, and she's hanging out. I'm teaching her how to push. And this dude drives by, pressure flip king, and it just helped me out, man. Got my game up, So shout out to all those dudes in the '90s in Portland that were yelling out of cars for me. Thank you. Thank you for saving me from being a virgin until I was 50.
Helped.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Helped him get laid, man.
Cheers. Oh yeah, exactly. Helped me get laid. Yeah.
So
pressure flips got me laid somehow. I don't know.
Man, God bless the pressure flip, dude. I should have done more.
You should have done more, man.
I know.
The game would be strong, bro.
When they went out hard.
They went hard, bro.
Like it was like, and you listen. Anybody listening it was the '90s, right?
Yeah.
There were do's and don'ts.
Oh, absolutely.
Of skating, and when the pressure flips went out, it was like a don't do.
Yeah.
What year do you think that was that happened? Like 94?
That it left the building?
Yeah. It was 93, 94?
Master Ron, I feel like he's more of a kinesiologist.
I'd say probably the end of 92 going into 93.
It was like in for a year.
Yeah, that's a good carbon skate on it. Carbon dating, carbon skating.
Yeah.
It was like in for a year or two, maybe. Maybe if 2 years.
Oh,
I
absolutely,
think.
yeah.
But then you just kept going with it.
I did. And I had no choice in the matter. It was one of those things where like, I was telling Jerron earlier this off camera, but a year after I just had a stream of bad luck. A year after I destroyed my ankle, I had a horrible accident in a PE class. And I don't remember even walking into the gym that day, but from what witnesses said, I got checked into the wall. We were playing floor hockey in PE class in high school, my freshman year of high school. And I get my skull smashed into the wall. Oh. And I fractured my mastoid process, my temporal bone. I woke up 3 weeks later after being in a coma in the hospital after losing 25 pounds of weight. Yeah,
3 weeks.
3 weeks in a coma on a ventilator. Yeah, it was devastating, but it's crazy. Me and Jerron were just talking about this, and actually how he has a relative that was 17 that went through a similar ordeal.
Wow.
And my auditory nerve was severed completely, so I have no hearing in my right ear at all. Zero.
Okay.
Like none. Not even. Some people are like, I'm deaf in this ear. Like no, I'm like legitly. There's nothing there. Like you could put a jackhammer right there, I wouldn't hear nothing.
Okay.
And there's no way in the medical world they can fix it or correct it or do surgery for it or anything. Mm-hmm. And when I found out from a VNG test, people can Google that. It's a fun little thing they put you through with a CAT scan and all these other things, that I only have 8% of the balance of a normal person. And so for me, the vestibular therapy was skating and keeping myself optimistic. And just like what your relative went through, it's weird. At the time, I didn't want to admit it because it was all about being tough and being pugilistic and being a peacock. You know how it was like in the 90s, you couldn't show your like tears to anybody. But I was very, very sad. And skateboarding is the only thing that kept me from literally committing suicide, to be honest. I was like so depressed and so down. And the fact that the doctor's like, you're never going to skateboard again. You have no balance. And I just went out there every day and I fought left and right. Like I just remember relearning how to manual on a manual pad, like, as long as a foot, just struggling for hours in a parking lot, just trying to just get enough balance to like not feel like vertigo. Like, when you've had like 7 beers, that's what it felt like all the time.
All the time.
Just imagine 7 beers deep every day of your life, 24/7, 365.
Sorry if you said this already. How old were you when this happened?
15. It was right after my 15th birthday. Sorry, it's April of 1994.
Gotcha.
I had to think about that. That was actually a good quiz. I was like, So I was freshly 15, barely into my 15 years on Earth. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like, for me, I enjoyed doing press ups. I enjoyed it was like meditative. It was catharsis, right? It was like, someone, just like anything. And I didn't really care what people thought, and I just enjoyed it. I never really thought I was going to go anywhere with it. I never really thought I was going to be in the industry or become a professional skateboarder or any of those other accolades. And that what happened was it stood out so much, and it was just by default. Like I did a Forrest Gump situation, man. It wasn't like this wasn't planned. It wasn't like I was sitting there like like Jean Michael Basquiat, like I'm making a profound statement with this paintbrush. I'm going to paint stick figures. It was like I just basically kept doing that and run it in local contests. I was in the OASA contest, Oregon Amateur Skateboarding Association, which was like the Oregon version of Castle. Oh. So it was a lot like Castle, but in Oregon. Okay. And Matt Peach's parents were involved with it. This lady, Helen Elsmore, Bob Moylan, I could go on. Marshall Stack Reed, a lot of legends. Danny Mennick was involved with it for a while. And anyway, so yeah, I would go to these OASA comps, and I just had fun. I just wanted free product, just like every kid. And so I do all these runs with pressure hooks, and I got consistent at them, and I'd win things. Next thing I know, I'm getting sponsored. My local shop, Cal Skate and Sport, shout out Howard Weiner, my first sponsor. Just they're like, you want to be sponsors? I was like, dude, yeah, every kid does.
Okay.
And I didn't even it wasn't like I was going for that. I was just like, I'm having fun. Like I'm just happy I'm not like in my room with a razor blade.
This is before the accident.
This is before and after. Yeah.
Before. Okay.
And the accident, it was like it took me a good year to get back to normal on the board. Like there was a good year where I looked like a drunk guy. Like kids on the bus, like I rode the public bus to schools. I was never on the school bus, the bus 54 Trimet to Beaverton, Oregon, from downtown Portland.
Shout out to
Trimet. Yeah.
Public transportation.
Shout out to Ben Cron, who drives a bus now for Portland Transit. Is that crazy?
Okay.
Yeah. And shout out to those dudes. But shout out to Josh Falk and everybody up in Portland. It was always cool to me on the bus. But long story short, I rode the bus and there'd be kids like, dude, you stoned or drunk or something? I was like, no, dude, this is my vestibular system's off. Like, vestibular, what the hell is that? Of course, 15 years old, that's not a word in your vernacular.
Sure.
Vestibular. Yeah, vestibular system, that's not anything people know, And so, I looked drunk all the time. And I finally and the only theory that any of the physicians have had on my citruscation over the years is that I basically gave myself my own form of vestibular therapy through skateboarding. That's the only reason I can balance it all. And I walk home and don't look like this all the time. Even though I still have only 8% balance, I don't appear that way because I've, just like a blind person does with, Braille and stuff like that, and walk across the street with a stick. To us, it seems impossible, but they taught themselves how to get around.
Well, you also challenged yourself mentally and physically, right? Like if you just sat around at home and did nothing, you would be
dwelling on it. Yeah,
exactly. I'm in a wheelchair right now. Yeah, exactly.
Probably. Who knows, right?
That's the beautiful thing about skateboarding. We're so resilient as skateboarders. I mean, I think about, look at those dudes in Brazil with no legs, like Augie, now the newer guy, Felipe, they're sadly born with these deformities from, DDT exposure, et cetera. And then they're hucking themselves down.
One of them was run over by a train.
Wow, I know that.
Felipe.
Felipe was a train. Okay.
Train accident.
I know they all have different scenarios. And it's like, there's a group of those dudes and they're all just mind blowing. Like doing overcrooks down a handrail with no legs, dude.
But it just goes to show, like, you could, if you put your mind to it,
exactly.
And you just have to have the heart and dedication, which you did at that age too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you fought this.
I'm sorry, dedication. Sorry. How dare me?
I'm just honored, man. And it was like, people kept throwing things at me, and it was like a snowball effect. I thought I was going to work construction and, be like my relatives, or like my dad stuck in an office in a cubicle the rest of his life. And as things progressed, I got sponsored by a board company called O3. It was like a really weird subsidiary. It was like, it changed its name to Empire, which is now it's the brand of at Zoomies. Zoomies sponsored me, which is hilarious. And then, I built into the factory sponsor stuff with that. And then Vision approached me. Big Mike from Vision, and they needed some damage control, which, by the way, bad move on their part to have the pressure guy, the most hated trick in the world. Gons left and started blind to make fun of Vision. Gator killed a woman, right? So, they had a lot of not such good reputations going on, right? You know what I mean? Everyone fled the ship, and then here comes Big Mike. It was at a castle contest in Redwood City in East Bay, and I'm standing there just having a good time after my run, and I'm standing there and. Randy Phelps is there, and Caswell Berry won that contest. I got second. I'll never forget it. Caswell got first. I got second. That guy Ears, what was his name? Justin
Williams.
Justin. Yeah, he got third. Yeah, thank you. Justin got third, and this guy, Big Mike, Mike McCandish, comes walking up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm the team manager of Vision." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." He's like, "Here's my card. If you ever want to trade teams, make $500 a month, I'm down." At the time, O3 was only giving me boards, so I was like, $500 a month, yay! And then just kind of built, and then the income built more, and I rode for Vision, and 3 years later they turned me pro, and next thing I know I'm traveling and enjoying life and dropping video parts and all that, and it was just. Again, I never thought I was gonna be a pro skater. I literally thought I'm gonna go into the apprenticeship program. I'm gonna hang drywall the rest of my life. Skateboarding is just a fun thing, and it was just every time I thought I could get out, they pulled me back in. It was like the Godfather, okay, I'm about to go back to college. Then like, hey, here's some money, okay, I'll stay in.
Sure.
It was weird,
And so
it was weird.
When the pressure flips went out of style, like we were talking about before.
Of course, yeah.
How did that make you feel? Because again, you had all these these hardships and fought through a lot of stuff, and then here you go. Here's your trick that is now kind of quote unquote frowned upon in the industry. What was your
man? In the beginning, when I was an insecure teenager, I was definitely sad. It hurt my feelings that people would shit on me, to be honest.
Right, for sure.
As I got older, I actually kind of loved antagonizing people with it. Like, it actually became kind of a fun thing when someone hated it. I just wanted to do it more in their face and piss them off more.
Well, to be fair, you're doing hard tricks, though.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
No, you are. You're literally doing big spin pressure flip to nose grinds.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like, but that's also funny because it's not just one trick; it's a whole style of skateboarding. So it's not like you're definitely honing in on that one thing. Yeah,
and that was my thing. Like I said earlier, I wanted to be that James Brown. I knew if I could just have a good 2-2 beat and a good I knew I was set. You know what I mean? That's the only knowledge I have because I love James Brown's music and I mean that in the most complimentary way. But he was only like 4 notes. You know what I mean? He made a whole catalog.
He was limited.
He wasn't very versatile. He wasn't he wasn't Marvin Gaye. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that my skills were limited. I mean, I always looked up. I mean, obviously watching guys like Mullen and Daewon and Carroll and these guys that could change their fabric at any moment. Chris Zen, guys that could skate any terrain. Always envious of them and always impressed by that. But I knew that wasn't me. Right. Every time I tried to douse in those rules or joust in it, I knew that I just ate shit and got hurt really bad. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to learn inverts today, and I broke 2 teeth and had to get laminates. So it was like, I can't do inverts. I have no upper body strength. Guess what? I'm not gonna ever be Peter Hewitt. So I admire those guys like Grant Taylor and obviously that guy we're talking about earlier that's now an opera, that Roman P guy, and
Roman Papich.
Yeah, thank you. And Guy Mariano, who can do a freaking body jar in a pool, but also can switch tray flip, lip slide, a handrail. So I've always been fans of that. But I knew that I knew I didn't have that big of a repertoire, but I loved it. It was like, this is great. It's the most addictive thing on earth.
Well, all the guys you mentioned there, they have their own bag of tricks. Like you had your own bag of tricks, right?
Thank you.
And when so what happened though? Like when it went out of style,
it was so weird. Like when it went out of style, like
you'll get that.
It was weird. I found sponsors that didn't seem to give a shit. They're like, just keep doing what you're doing. We don't care.
But back then, like there was no social media, nothing.
Exactly.
There was no slap. There was no anything.
Yeah,
People you'd have to hear it to the grapevine or to your face. Okay.
There would be things in magazines.
Articles.
Thrasher had their little gossip section. Big Brother had it as well. And no, you're right. And sometimes I'd get written up in there. But the funny thing is like, when I remember Vision when they started hurting again, of course, because they're Vision and they're notorious for that. I mean, shit, it's just like what they do. Somehow they're like AIDS. They never go away completely. They're just there. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a lot of love-hate with them. Like we had our ups and downs, and they paid my rent for many years and helped me not ever have to work a day job. So they paid for my freedom. So thank you. But there was also a lot of like, here's some invoices from this trip. You said receipts from this trip. You said you reimbursed me. Oh, we never got them in the mail. Shit like that.
Sure. Sounds like a typical skate company.
Yeah, typical skate company shit. So there was the good, the bad, and the ugly with them. But I remember when I quit and went to Capitol Skateboards out of DC. Yeah. Shout out Brian Tucci. Shout out Andy Stone, all those guys. Yes. They're already out of that company at that point. They're already working day jobs. But the guy that bought the brand, Jamie, what was his name? Jamie Jones, most generic name ever. Nice guy. I don't know where he is now. Shout out if he finds me. But Jamie Jones, bought it off of those dudes and Chris Hall and them, and kind of revamped it and started up with me and Cooper Wilt. It was right before he went to DECA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me and Cooper. It was right before he went on DECA. So it was me, Cooper, this guy Rod Marks, who's just first guy I ever saw. And again, I could be wrong. I'm sure there's some gnarly dude out there that knows. He was the first guy I ever saw when I was a little kid doing no slide nollie tray flips out, like way back, a million years ago, early 90s. And again, I don't know. I'm sure someone's gonna be like, no, actually, if they're gonna bring up some random video I forgot about. So please don't quote me on that.
That's a random one. I've never really seen anyone really do that.
Yeah. And he does it down like
and land like regular.
Randomly. That's amazing. And there was some other guys on the team. I can't verbatim remember them all right now. But I had a short-lived stay there, and when I went to Capitol, they were like, all this hate shit coming out on me. Like you said, all the gossip section of Thrasher, Jake hated me more than anybody, but I kind of missed Jake because at least he was honest. Yeah, he hated me, but he was never like that guy that was nice to your face and then a shit talker behind your back.
Yeah, you stay consistent.
Yes, I love that about him. Mm-hmm. Like, now I have to deal with all these guys like, oh, I love you, Nate Skissy. And they're like, fuck that guy, I hate him. Like Jake was like, fuck you, Nate. Like, I remember being in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like at the Boost Mobile contest in Vegas. And he's like, fucking Nate, you just need to go away. You need to die. You're like a bad penny. And I literally just went out and did a bunch of press ups right in front of him in a run just to piss him off and looked at him. He's like, Urgh. It was just, I was like, yes, I'm getting under this guy's skin. Fuck him. But I love him too. He
probably knew that and made you skate hard. Like, he had that kind of.
Yeah. He was like my customato,
Oh yeah.
Mike Tyson's coach, trainer. Yeah. He was like this. I kind of missed Jake because he was a muse, He was like, he hated me, but we had this love-hate thing. It was like he hated me, but I loved him because he could just rip into me so hard. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do something bigger now. I'm going to pressure up that street gap now to prove that they can't pop. You can't pop them. That's why they suck. Okay, fuck you. I'm going to pop it over something.
Right.
Like I'm going to do it on the Venice manual pad, that tall one. I'll tray press manual that, whatever.
No, you did on the court off stage.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you ollie up to manual?
Ollie to manual to tray press out. Yeah. I was going to try to replicate that on this trip, but dude, after yesterday, I got fucking thrashed. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm just going to fall on my face on that, but we'll see.
So it didn't bother you? This is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
like you just kept going and skating and doing your thing.
I just had this Portland, Oregon attitude where like it was just like, fuck it, I don't care.
You were happy-go-lucky, bro. From the outside standing in, I remember people doing ridiculing and obviously doing that as you did at that age. But like you just stood there with the hat like not fazed by it, which I admire. I think that's that says a lot about you in a sense. You know what I mean? Because again, you wouldn't let people affect you. You just go out and do what you love to do.
Thank you.
And that shit is, I think it's tough during that age. You know what I mean? To do so. You know what I mean?
I think
it is.
You had a lot of support too, though.
Dude, no,
you know what I
big
mean?
time.
Like I think it was like
there was the ones that hate, and you already know who those people were, and then there's the ones that kind of supported what you were doing.
Yeah.
It was the 90s. It was brutal.
It was
Big
brutal.
time.
Oh yeah.
If you did anything wrong, I mean, you would, it was brutal.
And Jerron, it means a lot to me. Thank you. It means a lot coming from you, by the way. I'm very honored, man. You're one of my heroes. And you know, it's interesting because, like you said, the 90s was really brutal on each other. I grew up in this really strange environment, though. I mean, Portland was like very, I guess you could say it was like the movie Warriors, bro. Like, you know, like come out and play. Like you had one side of town, it was the Burnside Hesh. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me. I'll skate in my boxer shorts. I'll do a boneless, and someone makes fun of me, they can get punched in the face. Then you had the other side of town, it was like the skate church guys.
Right.
And you know, and all those dudes were like, no, man, you're wearing the wrong pants this week. Fuck you. No complies aren't cool anymore. You know? And then a week later, they're like, no complies are cool again, man. It's like the Happy Gilmore thing. Like, oh, he pissed his pants. Or no, Billy Madison.
Davis or something.
Miles Davis pissed in my pants. Exactly. It was like as soon as Gons did it, it was cool again. So my goal was to get Gons to do pressure ups so everyone would shut up. Because, you know, Gons, obviously, amazing skater, every fabric from gnarly, you know, hammers to, you know, switch tail slides to, you know, you name it, everything. And we could sit here and talk about Gons and do a dissertation paper on it for 6 hours. But I always had a theory, as soon as he brought a trick back, people would follow. And I wanted to bribe him. I wanted to go to the bank, take a loan. I'd be like, here's 10 grand, just do a pressure up in a video part. Make him cool again so people stop hating you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like all these fuckers are hating my pressure ups, so they all worship you, dude. So they'll be like, oh, never mind. Nate's skill will be like, they'll be the Billy Madison, like, you can pee your pants. Like, you know, like, and I just always have these kind of like weird daydreams, like, well, I'll play the lottery. Like, I'll make pressure ups cool. I'm gonna go approach Gons. Hey man, here's 10 G's. Just do one pressure up in something, please. You know.
But I felt like you did it so much that people didn't know it, and they started to like it because you just owned it. I remember seeing you you would do stuff with Crail Tap, and I was like,
oh yeah,
dude, you were like going. Ty was putting you all these videos.
I was so honored. That was the craziest.
You stood on it. That's what I think the beauty of it is.
I was so honored when Ty and Spike called me to have me. And that was when things changed. There was a local Portland video, which I'm not going to call these guys out because it's rude and mean. And I was like, hey, can I have a clip in there? You know, it was after I moved to San Diego. They're like, no, like all kind of negative. And then after Yeah Right came out, they're like, oh, can we have a clip of you? And I was like, no, dude, fuck you. Like you didn't want me before I was cool. But again, the Billy Madison thing. Yeah. Now that Spike Jones filmed a clip of me in Yeah Right. Oh, you're cool. You're in the magical pink board section. Like, I was like, fuck you, man. You hated me before this. Yeah. You know, like, that was shout out to Kurt Hayashi, rest in peace. If it wasn't for him giving them my phone number, I don't know if I'd ever ended up in there. Because that was an interesting scenario. I was still getting hated on for the pressure ups, obviously, very, very heavily. And that changed the fabric of that hugely. I was skating Hermosa Beach. I was staying on my friend's couch. I was between apartments, my friend Dave Hatton, and I was skating down the Strand doing my normal repertoire of pressure up bullshit, right? And I hear this clapping. And, you know, that never happens in this country. Like, you know, you'll be in France or Italy or whatever. That happens all the time. People clap for skateboarding that don't skate. They're just like amazed, right?
Sometimes you get a whole group around you, right? You're in China, and then all of a sudden you're doing a demo for
literally. Yes, like just like you're in China. Exactly. Like, you know, when you're there for a few weeks and you're pretty sweet, there's these gatherings, like they look at you like you're like a mime or like a fire breather or something. They appreciate it, right? They appreciate it, right?
Yeah, they appreciate skating.
You know? and here I am on the Strand in Hermosa, just skating northbound, just doing my normal retro pressure ups. I hear this clapping. I'm like, who the hell's clapping for me? That's awesome. I look up at this sidewalk cafe, and there's Rick Howard and Megan Baltimore having breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And they're sitting there with their menus, and Megan's like got her face buried in the menu, and Rick's just clapping. I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Rick Howard. Like, I've never met him before. I know who he is, obviously. Like, you know, he sticks out the way he looks. I skate to him like, hi, Rick, it's nice to meet you. My name's A. He's like, no, I know who you are. And this is like maybe a month after my Big Brother cover came out. So he's like, yeah, I read your Big Brother article. I'm like, what the fuck? Rick Howard knows who I am. I'm on his radar. Like, this is fucking crazy. Here you are. Oh, here I am. Yep, there I am. Sand pits.
Sand gaps.
Yeah, right there. There it is. There I am. My car goes, man.
360 pressure flip.
Good times, man. Good times.
Board off to
Boom.
TNT.
TNT. Yeah, man.
He throws it right
back to you.
That was a hard throw, man. And Aaron Mazer, whoever that is, right there.
Were you? Would you film it with who filmed? I didn't do the pink. Did Spike and
Spike filmed it with a Bolex 16 millimeter.
Were you nervous filming with Spike?
Honestly, dude, I've never told anyone this before. Okay. This is going to be aired out. I got there 3 hours early and practiced that so much because I was so nervous.
But you knew exactly what they wanted?
Yeah, they
already told you.
Well, when they called me, it was the craziest thing ever. I was literally taking a leak in a bar. I was 23 years old. I was drunk as shit. And I thought it was one of my friends prank calling me.
When did they call you? At like 10 at night?
Dude, I was like, maybe only like 6. I was an alcoholic then.
Okay.
I was a drunk. I feel like the sun barely was down. And I get this, 310 area code phone number. And I answer it. I'm like, huh. And it's a speakerphone. It's like a conference call, It's like, hi, Nate, this is Ty Evans. And then I hear the other voice, this is Spike Jones. I'm like, sure. I'm pissing her. Like, yeah, you guys are full shit. Like, well, we got your number from Kurt Hayashi. And I was like, oh, never mind. This is real. Like mid-piss. I'm zipping up like, okay, what's going on, guys? And like,
I'm about to get on the team.
Like, yeah, no shit.
I'm about to get on. This is I'm about to get on Girl.
Hey, there's Jerron, right? Oh Jesus. Yeah. It was just so funny. They're like, well, we have this video working on, right, and it's been heavily advertised at this point. So I was like, yes, I'm familiar. Yes, obviously, like, blah, blah. And Spike starts describing what they're going to do. And I was like, oh, it's like your cannonball video with the breeders. He's like, exactly. But instead of a cannonball, it's going to be a magical pink skateboard. And I was like, dude, absolutely. Like, we want you to send one of your boards in your exact shape and everything to Sam Smythe. Do you have a pen and paper? So I go to the bartender. I'm like, hey. I'm like, pen and paper. And the lady just looks at me. I'm on my Nokia, it's back in the little Nokia, brick phone things or whatever they're called, candy bar phones, or whatever they called them. And I'm writing down, the FedEx number for Girl, I just remember Vermont Street. That's all I remember now, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we're gonna paint this board pink, and we're gonna make you. We know that you like love the sand pits because there was some footage in the 4-in-1 that came at me there. And like, we just want you to do one of your pressure flips over the sand pit, whatever one of your choice, whatever's easiest. Okay. We're shooting film, so we don't want something that's not consistent because it's 16 millimeter, and we have a lot going on that day. So like Ty is. He's just like a drill sergeant. Like, look, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Pico Street, blah, And I'm like, dude, yes, sir. Like, I'm like, yes, sir.
I'll be there.
Like, fuck,
sir,
I'll be there.
sir.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Like, I am not going to miss this once in a lifetime opportunity to work with Spike Jones and Ty Evans,
definitely.
And so I get there like hours early. I'm doing a million press ups, and shout out Stephanie Lim. She was the chick that played Peggy Oko in Lords of Dogtown. Me and her were friends. We're in the friend zone. There's a lot of rumors. We're friend zone. Nothing ever happened intimate between us. I don't care what anyone says out there.
Oh, they were okay.
So we hung out a lot.
Rumors.
Yeah, clear up the rumors. Yeah, I want to clear that.
Okay.
She worked at ZJ's board shop down the street.
Oh yeah, shout out
and
to
so
ZJ's.
she hung out with me for those hours in the morning, kind of kept me company while I was like getting the nervous jitters out. And as soon as she saw it, this was great. It was when Ty had that black toy to pick up.
Oh yeah.
He pulls up his head out the window like, Nate Sherwood, yelling. I'm like, whoa. And Stephanie's like, it's my time to go. Like, she was so cool. She's like, I'm gonna get out of here. You gotta work. I'm like, fuck, like, you're gonna leave now? Like, to be honest, like, you know how it is. It's always
a buddy there.
Yeah. Like, how it's always kind of motivational to have a woman there. Like, and I know this kind of sound peacocking or pugilistic. I don't mean to sound misogynistic, but us straight males, that's why there's cheerleaders were invented, right? You have a chick there. Like, that's why I was filming with my wife now. You have a hot chick looking at you do something, it's easier to pull it, All right. So I was kind of like, you're gonna leave?
You use it as motivation.
Yeah, as my motivation. Right. I was like, fuck. So she bails out, right? And I'm like, fuck, the friend zone chick left. I can't. I'm fucking doomed. Ty pulls up. We start talking. Tim Gavin jumps out of the shotgun seat. Tim's like, all right, I'm going to be throwing the board into frame. And Ty just starts laying it out for me. Okay. He's Ty is. He's got his mental image going. He's like, okay, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to have crowd, like, I'm going to make sure no joggers get hit by your board when you throw it on the beach side, okay? Like on the west side, blah, blah. Tim's going to throw it to you out of frame. You got to act surprised, okay? Act surprised. Like, this board just fell down from the sky. You didn't see it coming.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So we rehearsed before Spike even showed up.
Oh, really?
Spike shows up, walks out, light meter, 16 millimeter in hand. It was like an old Western, dude. Like, this dude's silhouetted by the sun. Here comes Spike out of the parking lot. I don't even know what he drove up in. He just appeared like poof, you know what I mean? Just comes walking up with a big bull, like 16 millimeter, back in the film days. And I dabbled in film a little bit, so I knew what a bull like 16 millimeter looked like. I was like, okay, this is film. This is serious shit. This isn't video. This isn't my homies with the VX1000 and the Century optics lens, right? And she walks in and says, hey, how's it going? I'm Spike. Good to see you, man. All right. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know you are. Like, holy shit, And he's like, okay, so you guys got it all planned out. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do a tray pressure flip over this real quick. And I did it once, or I think I did it once. He's like, okay, does one more light meter check. I do it again. Then I do it again. And then he goes up to the slides in the playground. And this is the best part ever. He's up on the slide. He's got everything ready. He's like, just like, film director, action, right? Tim throws the board at me, and as I'm going to do a tray press, some fanboy comes up to Spike runs up the ladder. He's like, oh my God, you're Spike Jones. I know you from, Three Kings or whatever. It was like some movie he was in. I don't remember which one.
That was it.
And he's yelling at Spike. And I'm like pissed kind of in my head. Like, dude, I've been waiting all morning. Like, I'm like jittery. Like, fuck, I got the game day shits. I got to go find a toilet, Like, like I'm about to shit my pants.
You got defecation.
Yeah, I got defecation. Serious defecation. Right. Exactly, dude. You know the lingo, bro.
I'm learning.
And so I'm like, motherfucker, blew it, like, because Spike can't now film because this fanboy's fucking up him. I'm like, so I go out there like a bouncer. I'm like, hey, man, after we're done shooting, okay? And the guy's like, okay, sorry, dude. Like, I want to regulate. I had to regu skate. Yeah. Nate Dogg and Spike had to regu skate.
Okay.
Different Warren G. We should do a cover of that. Get a hold of Spike for me, all right? We're gonna do Warren. We'll do
Warren G.
Yeah, Warren G. Exactly. We'll do that, man. It'll be sick, So anyway, like, fanboy comes up, he's like, just talking about his accolades, and you can tell Spike's he's annoyed too. He's like, dude, like, we got, like, it's golden hour, right? 5:30, sun's going down. Like, this is a very precise thing. They got, who knows what else the fuck else is going on the docket. I know that time is money with these dudes. Anyway, fanboy leaves. I yell at him. I get hard. The inner Burnside came out. Shout Josh Falk and Red and all those guys that taught me to be an asshole. Like, I shed my niceness. I was like, hey, after we're done shooting, okay, like, I went hard. By the way, I just fucked up your audio.
No,
so.
you're fine.
And the dude fucking backed away. He scattered away. Spike's like, okay, action. That was the try we used. Boom.
That was it.
I did it perfect, clean as fuck. Spike so confident, like, boom, blah blah blah. It's in the can, right? Spike's like, okay, I got it, guys. And I'm like, and of course we're not going to doubt it, It's like, it's fucking Spike Jones.
You can't check it.
You can't check it because it's film. Yeah, you can't just play it. He's got to go develop that shit. He's got to take it to some developer in Silver Lake or some shit.
So you did it one time.
Yeah,
on
one
film.
Well, twice. I think twice.
Okay.
And actually, then after we got that one, I think Ty, they had a little like huddle. It was adorable. Like Spike and Ty sat there like all like whispering to each other. And Spike came over the fisheye, like kind of rolling his eyes, like, okay, Ty's being an OCD fuck, like he's being meticulous, So he filmed a couple fisheye versions of it too. I remember that.
I was gonna say, I feel like Ty would, when they were filming other stuff, he would film with the VX also.
Yes,
just in case.
He was off camera with the VX. Yes, he was. He was in the front. He was.
Okay, yeah.
You're right. He was. He had the VX, and he was off frame in the front of me. He was, and Spike was, I think, kind of like, yeah, I got it. But like Ty was like, no, come on, let's get some fish. Let's do this. And we did a few other angles. Sorry for that audio pop.
You're fine.
And so I don't know. They maybe did like, I don't know. I feel like they did a couple of angles fish, a couple maybe low angles. I think you could tell Spike was kind of like, I got this shit to do. And Ty was like, come on, buddy. Like, and they're buddies. I get it. It was all good fun. Just like room skates and you live together. Like, come on, wash the towels, brother. I don't need to wash the towels. They're clean. It was like that. I could just see how they work together. Yeah, exactly. It was like, and I was just happy to be involved with it. I was like a labradoodle. I'm just sitting there like a labradoodle, like going on a walk. Like, okay, guys, what do you want me to do? Yeah. I'll do
like
it again.
A Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah, Jack Russell. I was like, let's do it again. I just kept doing it. Yeah. I just kept doing it again and again. And then finally they're like, okay, we got to go. Boom, boom, boom. Like, we're out of here. Spike disappeared into the parking lot somewhere. And they got back in the Toyota truck and I got Nux. This is the funniest thing ever though. I left, speaking of that VX1000, I totally forgot about this. I left my car keys in Ty's camera bag with his VX1000. So they drive off with my Alicia keys in the bag. So I can't get back into my 1999 Saturn, right? And I'm like, dude, I go to the parking lot and I'm like, fuck me, I'm locked out. So I call them, no answer. They're on the freeway at this point, probably going to shoot some other golden hour clip from that video. To this day, I don't know what they were doing, but again, none of my business, right? Out of sight, out of mind. And so I don't have my cell phone or keys or nothing, right? Stephanie Lim's mom ran a hair salon and nail salon. Okay. So Stephanie Lim's mom had a hair salon right off PCH somewhere. I can't even talk about a hair salon. I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm not articulating things well. And I go to the hair salon. I see Stephanie's mom. She's looking at me like, yeah, this is the idiot that my daughter's in the friend zone with. He needs to give up on that. I'm like, can I use your phone? I don't remember the number, but I knew Kurt's number, which, by the way, rest in peace. I won't give away the last part of it, but his number was so cool. 503-317-KURT. But yeah, isn't that cool? So I had it memorized since back then. Rest in peace to Kurt. I call him. I'm like, can you call Ty and tell him that I left my keys in his fucking camera bag and to come back here? Oh, no. And Kurt's like, I'll do that. There's no way to call me back really because it's a hair salon. They don't want me on the phone all day hanging out in there, hanging out, scaring people away, like being a gross, dirty skateboarder, And so I go back to the parking lot, right? Maybe an hour later, I'm just sitting there just living on a prayer like Bon Jovi, bro. I'm just sitting there, you know, sun's now down. It's dark, right? Here comes the black Toyota truck, dude. Here comes Ty, just keys out the window. He's like, here you go, man. Kurt hit me up. I'm like, thank you, bro. Thank you. I was so excited that I forgot my keys, man. So yeah, that's the story of how I ended up in Air Right, man.
And you said, because this was in 2003.
Yeah.
So after that, a lot of people...
They started getting nice. It was the Billy Madison thing. It was weird. All of a sudden, Chris Ortiz at Formula was like, "Hey, you want to do a part?" You know, all of a sudden, all these. It was a snowball effect.
Right.
All of a sudden, pressure slips were. Well, I don't know about cool. That's a strong word. That's a strong word.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool
Too
guy.
far, right?
That may be a strong word. Yeah. And of course, I'm biased. Obviously, I know I'm biased, right? Because it's like my kid, right? But you know, like it felt like there was a lot less hatred. They were more tolerated, not accepted, but tolerated.
Sure.
They're taller skated.
You
know.
Yeah.
And, you know, also I'm dropping video parts. I won't get in all the details. We'll be here till midnight. But, you know, and all of a sudden I'm getting on different tours and different travels and things. And then Transworld wanted me to have a column. And, you know, I'm doing this thing to overheards and, you know, all these little quote things and writing articles, interviews. And, you know, it was funny. All of a sudden my career was back just because of Spike and Ty. So thank you. That 3 seconds I was in Yeah Right sparked something that made me, I guess, validated by the upper echelons, you know?
You were on Crail Tap all the time though too. That's when like Crail Tap was the shit.
Like
Bob
the
K.
website. And you were always on there.
Mesa was probably filming a lot of that stuff too.
Yep. Mesa's filming. Yeah.
This was the cover you were talking about?
Yes, that's the cover. I filmed that whole interview in 2 days. I mean, shot the photos. Jesus, I shot with Dan Borky. I shot that whole interview, head page spread in 2 days in a weekend.
Get him.
Isn't that insane? Yeah, I did it all in 2 days. And the cover, Rick Kosick shot it. And a little unknown fact, the chick, or the young lady, the girl in the plaid skirt, that's Johnny Knoxville's daughter, Madison Knoxville.
No way.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, kicking my ass. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, Johnny was there for that. Yeah. And, you know, Hated Misunderstood. They knew it, obviously, right off the bat that I was Hated Misunderstood.
Yeah, for sure.
They gave me the cover because I guess I was, at the time, the most prolific hated guy, you know?
Wow.
And so, yeah, I shot that whole interview in a weekend. It was all filmed, 35 millimeter. So you know how it is when you're shooting sequences in those days. Yep. You better have that trick on lock because, you know, roll film's about to get thrown in the garbage. And that's $10 down the drain.
I used to get so bummed and like on myself where I'm like, fuck, you see all those rolls there.
Oh, my God.
Bro.
No, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, isn't it? And tech guys like me and you can relate to that, and you feel so bad because you'll go shoot with these guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they're just stacking up rolls of film.
You got to warn them beforehand, like, dude.
Yes.
This might not happen.
Yeah.
Quick. Rolling the dice here.
Yeah, rolling the dice, yeah. But think about how beautiful it was. I mean, and again, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because it's our generation, right? But think about how neat it was when that ad came out, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, this was film. Like, I did this crooked grind nollie heel flip out. I'm just thinking of a trick that you probably did like nothing easy. Right. And it was on film. It wasn't, you know, a digital lander you can shoot all day, right? Like I remember shooting with CU and you know, Dan Borky and, you know, Scott Palmier, et cetera. And, you know, same thing. You know, I remember Scott shot me doing that laser pressure over that street gap, the Mary Mesa gap. And I believe it ran Transworld. If someone knows, I'm sorry if it was some other mag. And I remember like, it was one of those things where it took me forever usually to get it. And then he's like, dude, I want to shoot that. I was like, dude, it's going to be rolls of film. He's like, I don't care. The mag's paying for him. I was like, all right, dude, like you're not out $10 a chance then. Cause you know, at the time, Fuji Velvia, the high res, you know, slide film was like $10 a roll. Yeah. So if you bailed, that was $10 down the drain. It was like, fuck, it was like gambling.
But you would get like what, 1 or 2 sequences?
Sometimes you get 1 or 2. Yeah. Depending on the motor drive, the speed of like the Nikon F5, I think you're right. You're right. It was 1 or 2. I fucked that up.
Just in case.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And they had their little tricks too. I do remember like skating like a manual and like, it would take so long to get the in and the out of the manual that they would take a sequence of half the manual. Then they would wait and take the end of the sequence because they know they got the first part of it, right? Yeah. So they were the little tricks that they did.
I remember shooting with Grand Blvd having to do that with me.
Right.
He did one where it was a tray pressure manual, shove it, pressure up out, and he shot the in and out, and I did it perfect and filmed it. And then he was like, "Can you do a couple more manuals on that?" Because I fucked up those frames. So I did. He stayed in the same spot and just shot the manuals.
And then you know, make them together.
Yeah, they pieced them together. And it worked out fine. It was I don't remember what I had now, but whatever. It was a million years ago. But
I mean, like after so many bricks of film, you know,
you can do it.
They had to do something.
It really taught us to be consistent. You know.
Yeah, man. That was it.
Much more
because their kids are consistent now.
Oh God, they're robots. It's an amazing.
It really is.
I mean, we were talking about Deshaun earlier. God, laser flip back, lips down handrails, and I mean, I just insane. How, I mean, those contest skaters, you're like, wow, really? Okay, you just nollie heel crooked grind to that handrail like in a contest run. Like, no, you know, I remember Justin Eldridge did that as an ender, you know. Now that's just a contest run. It's crazy.
I will say this: pressure flips are fun.
They are fun.
Like
you went through a phase. You did some of them. You're bitten by the bug.
I love a good pressure flip manual. Like they're easy to do, so they're not that hard.
Right into it,
I mean, I'm talking about up a curb. I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm not talking about the stage or anything. This is like just up a curb.
Yeah.
Pressure flip manual.
Oh, they're so fun.
It's a fun trick because you don't have to try that hard. You don't have to pop. You don't have to exert a lot of energy.
Dude. It's super ergonomic, man.
Yeah, they're really fun.
It seems right up your alley right now. You know, not popping. You know,
Dubs, relax, bro.
I have some edit on YouTube somewhere of you doing a pressure flip manual at Stoner where we hung out one day.
For sure.
You know,
I mean, they're fun to do.
Yeah, they're
what
fun.
was your favorite pressure flip to do? Like whether a flat ground or like a ledge or in, out?
I mean, my always go to.
Yeah.
Tray pressure flip 50-50 grind is a lot of fun.
It's
just something I have unlocked.
360 pressure flip 50-50.
Yeah, I can do that in anything. Like I can get up, someone could slap me out of bed and be like, "Do it right now," and I'm okay. Like you know what I mean? Like there was a gun to my head. It's like your wife's gonna die today if I'd be like, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna. That's my
super extreme. Right?
I know. I was trying to be comedic. I'm happy you guys get my humor, man.
You're fine. You're fine.
Is that the one pressure flip that you can pop the best too?
Well, now and just like you, we were brothers, bro. We both have had FAI cam impingement surgery.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
wow.
Before that surgery, I could pop all of them just as high. It didn't matter which way, fakie switch, nollie, whatever. But now since that and I love, shout to Dr. Robert Westerman, shout to Dr. Hall, shout to Dr. Amanda Paulson. I'm skipping words here. Shout out to everyone at the University of Iowa that's helped me get back in the game. But since that surgery, it just, again, you know how it is, your range of motion is not like it was before.
Yeah, it's tough.
And now the tray pressure flip, I can still pop as high as I could as a kid, but the other ones, they don't pop as high. So I just know that one's a go-to. I get less shinners, less injuries from it.
Okay.
But I definitely, but if you asked me 15 years ago what my favorite one was, it would have been the frontside shove pressure flip because I love that one.
That one's dope.
Yeah, it's dope.
Board and body or just board?
Oh, just board.
Okay.
I like doing the board and body sometimes, but this the board like to crooked grind, to feeble, whatever.
Dude,
It's
the best,
crooks.
bro. The best one was Javante Turner switch frontside pressure flip
God.
in World Industries.
Was it Love Child?
Love Child.
Yeah.
Pull that up,
Javante.
JC. Love Child.
I'm a
Javante.
huge Javante.
Switch front pressure flip. He's wearing the.
Yeah.
I think it was the NTSs.
The
NTSs,
orange
yeah.
or the yellow?
Yellow
Yeah.
NTSs.
NTSs Airwalks. Yeah, NTSs the first NTSs.
I wanted to do
Style for days.
that. For me, I wanted to learn pressure flips, and this was 92, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Child was 92.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, like
Here, this is.
I'm a huge Javante fan. I've been a fan of him forever. Like, I've never met the man, but I've been a fan. I mean, I just remember his cameo in Questionable with Carol. Like Big's been flipping off at the EMB off the block.
Perfect, absolutely.
And I
perfect.
remember because you couldn't find those hieroglyphics B-side songs really easily back then. So I remember recording that off the TV.
No, they were
like the
gatekeeping
Birdside.
that music back then, bro. That's
they
one thing I used
were.
to get real disappointed
Yeah, me
at.
too.
They're like,
Yeah.
you can't take this tape and record it. I'm like, dude, that's what it's about.
That's
Like,
exactly.
you're supposed to spread the music, bro.
Word up.
What
And
was
they
what was the idea of that?
I don't know. They just wanted to keep it amongst their people. I'm like, dude, that don't
Yeah.
make no sense to me.
Made no
Aren't
sense,
you trying
man.
to spread the you spread the music.
Exactly,
you don't,
man. Exactly. And
Support it. I don't know.
was
It's weird, odd.
I was a huge fan of hieroglyphics.
Maybe that somehow was like it was more attractive by doing that then. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it was the lure of it. It was like
Yeah.
the supreme business model.
Basically,
You know what I
without
mean?
without them knowing. But I definitely remember that specifically. That's
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
I remember Burnt. That was like my favorite track, And I met Del the Funky Homo Sapien years after that, not to name drop, but I accidentally broke his arm. I feel really bad about that. Yeah, I broke Dell's arm. And we have talked about it since on social media. Yeah. So here I am. I'm 18 years old. I'm in
Let's hear
high
it.
school, right? I just got out of class on a Friday night. I got my backpack, right? I'm a senior in high school. I'm taking a photography class. I got my little Pentex 35 millimeter in my backpack. I go to this club, the Roseland Theater, and Hieroglyphics is playing all ages show that night, right? And my friend Bruno, well, that's loosely speaking, I should say acquaintance Bruno, who's a graffiti writer in Portland, but he was also a bouncer there, told me that they were having a barbecue at a park down the street. He's like, dude, all Hyro's there. Everyone, casual pep lover. You should just go crash and say hi. I'm like, dude, yes, fuck yeah. I'm like a huge fanboy, right? So I go up to Dell. He's on a swing set, just fucking high as fuck, stoned as fuck. He's wearing this shirt that says, slower thinkers keep right. And I'm just, I'm a huge fan of him. I'm just like, holy fuck, it's Dell. There's Casual, there's Pep Love, there's Opio, there's, A+, blah, blah. So everyone, all of Hyro's there. You know what I mean? To me, they were bigger than Wu-Tang because, I'm from the West Coast.
Right.
So to me, Hieroglyphics was my Wu-Tang, Shout out Buku One, Pep Love, all those guys. And Anyway, they're in the park. They're just having a good time. They're barbecuing. Like their tour promoter guys throwing a little barbecue deal for them. The guys that own Roseland are, making sure they're having a good time. The tour bus is sitting there. And Dell's just on a swing set by himself, just, meditating, just swinging. And I'm like, excuse me, I don't want to, I was very, very diplomatic. I was like, hey, is it cool if I get a photo of you, Dell? He's like, absolutely, man, that's cool. He shoots a photo of me on the swing set. He's like, let me do something better than that. He tries to do one of those backflips off the swing like we all did as kids. Dude, stoned as shit. Lands on the concrete because this is like old school playgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Like no styrofoam, none of that like ADA accessible shit. You know what I mean? This is like raw, like old school Portland Rust Belt shit, right? So there's like a curb and there's bark dust. Homeboy lands and karate chops the curb, right? Oh, he's like, oh man, I gotta call it quits, man. I gotta call it quits. I'm like, absolutely, yo, I gotta go, man. But like, thanks anyway, man. You have a good one, man. And I'm like, dude, absolutely. I'm like, holy shit, is he okay? I go to that show and like maybe 3 hours later, right? And A+ starts the show off saying, hey, I just want everyone to know Dell's not performing tonight. He had to go to the hospital because he broke his arm.
And you're sitting there like...
yeah. I'm sitting here with the film and I'm like, oh, fucking yeah. You can find it on my Instagram and I tagged Dell in the photo of him flipping.
Really?
And
you have it on your Instagram?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. And Dell actually laughed. He's like, that was you, man? Wow. He's like, that was a brutal day. The rest of the tour I had a cast on.
No
Yeah,
way,
he wrote a beautiful comment on there. And not to name drop it, he still actually like, he always looks at my stories. And it's crazy.
What was this dude up to?
Wait. Is there a photo? Can we see this photo on your Instagram page?
I'm sure if you dig around, I'm sure.
Real quick, the Javante.
Oh, Javante, please. Oh, God, I love this. There it is. Look how beautiful that was.
It's not the yellow NTS.
God, that double flip, dude.
Not the NTS.
Oh, backside. Oh, God, what a ripper. What a ruler, man.
Man, I feel like he did
one of my favorite mechanics there.
Wait, do you do switch pressure flips?
I do. And not as much, again, after that damn hip surgery. And again, I love Dr. Westerman. I know without hip surgery, I won't be able to walk normal. But yes, my switch pressure flip game is not as strong as it used to be. If someone wants to play a game of skate with me, they're going to smoke me on a switch pressure flips for sure, like a pack of cools. But if you ask me 10 years ago, there was a time in my life where you like that? Thanks, man. Thanks, man. But if you would ask me,
hate playing you a game of skate, dude.
Oh God,
bro, it was undefeated,
dude.
Depends who goes first, right?
Yeah, depends who goes first. Like exactly.
God damn it, Nate's first.
Ask Costin or Tiba about that. Well, ask PJ Ladd about that one. Patrick John Ladd and me played a game of skate for Dex. It was right after he got on Plan B, like right after he quit Flip. Mm-hmm. We're at Moonlight Beach in San Diego, right? And we're just skating together, me and him and Ronson Lambert. Just, it was like one of those normal California dream sessions. It's like 50 dudes there, everybody and their brothers down there. I won't name drop, but a lot of notables. And we're skating around and PJ's like, you got those Oscar the Grouch boards? And I was on Willie's workshop at the time, and there's this weird graphic Oscar the Grouch. He's like, dude, I love Oscar the Grouch. When I was a kid, I was like, I do have one of those. I made a joke. I was like, want to play a game of skate for it? And I'll take one of your Plan B decks. And this is back when he had that Range Rover and he had some of his Plan B boards. And he's like, okay, deal. If you win, you get the Plan B deck. And if I win, I get the Oscar board. And we're just joking around. Like, this is kind of humorous, like fun shit. We both got a stack of boards in our trunk. It doesn't matter really. His board was already gripped and shit, same here, whatever. And we played a game of skate, and that's my. I'm not trying to brag. I beat PJ Ladd only once in a game of skate, only because I got the coin toss. If he got the coin toss, I've been dead.
Yeah.
But I got the coin toss, and I just ran the gamut,
But wait. Let's say
most of us switch those. Yeah.
Let's say PJ gets a chance to go, which he probably didn't.
He didn't.
If he tray flips, can you tray flip?
I can tray flip. Yes. If they look horrible. They look like 1992, like the typical 16-year-old that's like, sponsor me tape, like the ones that get focused over your forehead in Sue's apartment. Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys about that, or you guys have to know about this. Mm-mm. Sue, when he was the staff photographer for DeWindle, he would take all the VHS tapes home that were rejected, and he'd just watch them for shits and giggles, because before the internet was like video, like now, why not?
He's sponsor me tapes.
Sponsor me tapes. Yeah. And the ones that he thought were horrible, me, him, and Chris Haslam and Cooper Witt would play baseball with. Yeah, isn't that horrible? Isn't that just we call it smashing the dream. So all my bad karma, that's just from
smashing the dream.
We had a Louisville Slugger, bro, and we'd watch him be like some kid hauling up a curb, and we'd be like, fuck this guy, he'd eject it, and we just swing, boom, and break tape everywhere on this apartment. Dude, there's one point where that whole apartment in North Hollywood was covered in VHS tape.
You would do it everywhere. Inside the apartment?
Inside. We were idiots. Wow. This is before I quit drinking, guys. We would drink like teacups like this full of Jägermeister, get hammered. Chris Haslam was the only straight edge one in the group, so he was pitching. And me, Cooper, and Jason Hernandez. Yeah. So me and Jason Hernandez and fucking Coop would just take turns batting these fucking things across the room, breaking VHS tapes everywhere, smashing
the dream. What did you call it?
Smashing your dreams.
Smashing the dreams.
And like, then we'd like get really rowdy. And there's like these neighbor chicks on the hall that would come in and fucking play too. It was sick, dude. It was every Friday night at Sue's apartment back in like 2003, 2004. Yeah. And it was like, my tray flips looked like one of those videos where it was so bad.
You know what's funny? It's like, I've known you for a long time, and we were never like buddies, but around the way and everything. I had a whole different I have a whole different vision of you in my head. Like, this is not the Nate Sherwood that I pictured.
A lot of people don't know. I kept it under wraps.
Okay.
I kept it low key. That's what us real gangsters do. We keep a low profile. There it is.
Wow.
We found it. There's the photo. I shot that photo moments before he broke his arm.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. And there it is. That's one of the jumps. I want to say the flip was the one that broke it, but that was the one that came out the best. The jump one is like, there is running away with a broken arm.
Oh, he was already hurt back there.
Yeah, he was already hurt, and he's just being a man, dude. He just took it. He was just like, fuck yeah, like. and there's Del Jairo, yeah. And I don't know if that might be a repost one I did. I think I posted a couple times. And there might be one where he was like, he wrote a whole paragraph about it. And there might have been one where I posted it years later. I think I get bored in Iowa, guys. I might have posted it 3 or 4 times. So if this is not the one with the original, I apologize. I repost shit because my life is pretty dull now.
But he commented lightning bolt and then the shot, the horns.
The horns, yeah.
And then you wrote, I am honored, sir. Thanks, man, for being a fan.
Yeah, it's just it's funny because me and him we'll talk back and forth, and I still trip out. Del the Funk. I mean, I don't care. Like, like Brad Pitt could walk in here, I wouldn't fan out. But Del the Funky Homo Sapien, I'm like, holy shit, one of the greatest poets, lyricists of all time. Like, one of the dudes that gave me faith not to kill myself as a kid. Like, I could go on. There's a million rappers I admire, but like Del, so intertwined with the fabric of skateboarding.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. And it's like, so yeah, he broke his fucking arm that day, man. It's crazy. And I forgot I reposted a few times, so apologies to Bagley and them out there. Like, I probably, the original might be deeper in the cut, but but yeah, it's amazing because he was so humble about it when he commented. He wasn't like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I could have went real bad real quick.
I can't believe I did that for you.
I did for just some weird kid, some high school kid, I was just some goofball at the Pentex, like, I should have photo you. I'm going to get an A in my class.
But he was trying to showboat for you.
He was showboating. He was, man.
That's why he ran away.
That's why he ran away. And he was super calm.
He scurried off.
He was higher. And he was higher than a hippie in a tree fort. His eyes were dog dick red. You know what I mean? He was stoned as fuck. You know what I mean? I don't even think he felt the break, bro. Like, he had some good Northwest weed in him. He didn't feel shit. That guy was as numb as I was when I came out of my hip surgery on lidocaine. Oh no, ketamine. Sorry.
Ketamine.
Yeah, they put me in a K-hole for my surgery.
Really?
Yeah. You hear your choices. Didn't you ask your anesthesiologist? They have a whole. It's like a bartender. It's so dope, dude. Nikki Pop was her name.
Like, I take some ketamine.
What? Yeah, exactly. What a great name for an anesthesiologist.
Number 3.
Yeah. What a great name for an anesthesiologist. Her name was Nikki Pop. Like, popping your full drugs. I couldn't believe she comes in and she's like, would you like this, and this, or ketamine? I was like, oh, I've heard of ketamine. Let's try it.
I don't think I
she said this was on the menu tonight.
Yeah, literally. And I got knocked the fuck out.
I don't know what hospitals you're going to,
dude,
bro, but like
fun ones.
Okay.
Big shout out to Dr. Robert Westerman. He used to skate when he was a kid. He knows about indies and Spitfire wheels. So that's why I chose him to do my hip surgery, because any man that rode indies definitely can do a surgery.
So we're jumping around. We're jumping around a lot, which is fine.
Yeah.
But when you got out of the hip surgery, it was everything good. They cleaned you out, or what exactly did they do?
So just like homeboy to my left, right here to the left, past the hip surgery to the left hand side. For years, I'm going to be 46 in a week, but since I started,
happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
Especially when this comes out, it'll be your birthday.
Oh yeah. So honored. What a great birthday gift. This is so sweet. Like, I'm just so happy. I feel like Bjork in the Human Behavior video right now. But maybe you guys got that reference, so you have to be old Gen Xers to get that one. But so I was 38 years old, right? And I used to do this insane workout. I don't know why. I thought I was, how it is, midlife crisis, right? I would skate 20 miles every day. Every Monday. Sorry.
It's not a normal workout.
Yeah. Every Monday I would skate this bike trail in Cedar Rapids to Ely, Iowa and back. And it was 10 miles there and 10 miles back every Monday. Sorry, once a week, not every day. Only once a week. And I would do this long haul skate. And I started feeling pain in my hip from it. And I was like, okay, it was a cruiser board, by the way, like big ATF wheels, you know what I mean? I wasn't doing it on hard ass wheels, my big square nose, it's my big old shovel nose board, shout out to Dakota Skateboards. And Pat Smith, rock and roll. And I started feeling pain. And then I was like, whatever, I'll just stretch and ice it, I won't see a doctor. Then a couple weeks after that started happening, I had one of those, an orange cone, your normal traffic cone. And I felt this I heard a pop and I heard this horrible pain. And I could barely walk. I called my wife. I literally couldn't even walk back to the shop. Like, pick me up. I was on the ground, just 30 years old, just looking like I took a gunshot, just like, oh. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll ice it. Again, I just thought it was just some old man shit, right? Anyway, I go to a urgent care clinic, which is the worst thing you can do for that, by the way, folks. Don't ever do that because they don't know shit. They're like, oh, go to physical therapy, they'll fix it. And I feel like that just made it worse. It was like, I'm doing all these moves and doing all this weird flexion shit. It just hurt every day I was in there. Finally, I go to the University of Iowa. My wife's like, well, we should look at different hip people. And this dude walks in the room, Dr. Westerman. He's examining my hip. He's like, are independents still around? I'm like, yeah. He's like, are Spitfires girls? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you want to go with this guy? I'm like, absolutely. He skated. He knows what's up. Like, dude, fuck yeah. And so they finally do an MRI, blah, blah, after all the insurance was cleared and all that fun shit.
Did you have to get the dye injected in you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep, I did the dye and all. Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So did an MRI and they're like, you have a cam impingement, which I didn't know what that was before that because I'm a moron with the skate shop, not a medical student.
Yeah.
Medical, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
And it's just like you, I had a big growth on my femoral head and I had torn up cartilage, Yeah. So they cadavered out and stapled back and Tetris back my cartilage and they shaved down the bone and popped me back together again, Okay. And again, just because of, as because your ligaments and things are stretched out, certain tricks. And I've read that a lot of ballerinas, which is interesting that we're so similar to ballet. This is a common injury with ballerinas. Isn't that interesting? It's like all they call them, what do they call them? Like corps de ballet. And then there's the other word, God, what the hell is the name of that? It's going to kill me. Soloists, ballerinas, male and female. This is like a normal thing for them to have in their 30s and 40s. So like ballet companies literally have like gnarly insurance where they're like, once you turn 40, get ready to have cam impingement surgery. Oh, wow. So if you're like, at American Ballet Company in New York, for instance, like, you're big time, like you're like, you're in that upper echelons. Like basically they know what's going to happen to you. Like you're doing this for 20 years, like you're going to have a big growth on your femur and we're going to pay for you to shave it down and you can retire or whatever. Isn't that crazy? Like, yeah. Is that nuts? Yeah. I did a lot of research on it, just, like all of us. And so, yeah, I got a big growth on my femur and, they shaved it down, my man, the bone shaver was in there, shaving it down, you know what I mean? He was kicking ass, taking names, popped all my cartilage back up, stapled it together, did all the fun cadavery stuff and then popped me back together. And then I had a PRP injection a couple months after that. And I eventually, just because of, doing deep flexion, as you eventually flare up other things in there just because of, we're old. And I got iliacus bursitis. So the iliacus muscle, which comes off your pelvis as well, has a burst and it can become inflamed. And again, I was skating hard as hard as I can. I think I'm 20, right? I'm out there like channeling my inner Ron Allen, like this dude's in his 60s and he's doing pop shove at late flips. At 45, I should still be able to pressure flip, damn it,
Sure, yeah.
And so I'm out there just ripping hard. And like I literally hit Westerman before I flew out here. I was like, dude, I need some kind of shot or something. I'm in pain. I'm not going to LA not skating. Like I'm gonna be tortured watching people on the beach skating and I'm gonna be on the 9 Club like depressed like a clutch, So he hooks me up with Dr. Hall, who's like, the expert in the injectables, and they, do a cortisone shot, and I had Jock too. It's sports Brooklyn's, right?
What did the cortisone? Do you think that stuff works? I mean, I've never done anything like that, but for your hip specifically, it's like the pain goes away for a while.
So far, it's been working, but I've had other cortisone shots in other parts of my body in the past where it didn't. But so far, this one's worked. So yesterday I skated for was that Sunday? When was Sunday? Yeah, it was yesterday. God, it feels like 2 days ago. Sunday I skated with Willie Santos and all the homies and Bagley in a parking lot for like 6 hours. I got there at 9:30 a.m. and left at 4:30. Burnt, dude. It was like, I feel like a kid again, but I was like heat stroked where I was like dehydrated super bad. And I went into an IKEA and I bought a bunch of veggie dogs. And I was like about to die drinking Gatorade. Like I looked like a hobo. It was so sick. Yeah, because we were stuck in the Orange Curtain. It was like some like, you know what I mean? Like suburbia hell. Like there was nothing around except an IKEA. And it was like, it sucked. Like that, like, Willie, I love you, but you took me to a fucked up place to skate. You know what I mean? Like it was just bad, bro. It was just bad. Not bad meaning bad, but not bad meaning good. It was unbelievable, like EMF, And so like, the curb was fun, but there was like no shade. You know how it is. I get back to Siu's apartment in North Park, right? Like I'm fucked. I'm like sunburnt. I'm thrashed. My muscles are twitching. Like, dude, I almost like died on the freeway because my muscles are locking up in my arms. Jeez. Like just like so low, like dehydrated, like a heat strokey. My shin muscle was locking up and like when your toes cramp, it was like that. I'm in the rental car, like I'm gonna die in the 405. What the fuck? And like anyway, I get
water
back to
and bananas. Instant
yes,
you need that.
yes, sir. Dude, exactly. see you and you were smart guys. He just starts feeding me, dude. He gets all Mr. Miyagi on me, bro. See you takes me. He's like, here you go. Have some chicken broth. Have some bananas. Have some potassium pills. So like, dude, literally, dude, like it was like a scene in Karate Kid, bro. Like I'm laying down a yoga mat. He's like, okay, now stretch this. All right, you'll be all right. Like, and I just chilled until right now. Literally, he's like, if you skate tomorrow, take it easy. And I did. I just did some slappies. You know, I'm horrible at slappies, but you know, I just went down to the sand pit, relived my right days. It's like,
there you go.
You know,
the pit's not.
Yeah, it's not good. Those palm trees are blocking they're fucking with my flow, man.
But
there
one
is a couple. Yeah, there's one or two.
Yeah.
Did you do the 360 pressure
Not
flip?
today.
Oh.
I probably could. I put my cruiser wheels on.
Oh, okay.
So I just didn't feel like dying.
Well, maybe,
everything.
maybe before you leave.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to
recreate that.
I want to recreate that.
You should
I want to ollie that cement pole too. I used to ollie that all the time too.
That thing's big.
That thing is
big.
tall.
There's American Misfits episode somewhere buried of me ollieing that pole in a line and doing like 4 tricks in a row there. I don't know. It's somewhere on the internet, but yeah, I used to ollie that thing, and that was like my warm-up run there. I'd ollie that and like tray press one sand pit and then backside press the second one.
In a row?
In a row, yeah.
Yeah, that's quick.
There's footage somewhere out there, you know, but I don't buried in the web. I don't know if it's YouTube or Instagram or where the hell it's posted. You know, with my sometimers, I forget where I post things. Not Alzheimer's yet, but sometimers sometimes. Sometimes I forget where things are too, you know what I mean?
Do you have a YouTube?
I do have a YouTube, and I should use it more. I actually used it recently just to kind of make you guys a highlights reel, so poor Bagley didn't have to fish through, miles of filler, you know, and B-roll that wasn't good, you know, just to get something that was juicy.
I want to really quickly. I want to talk to you about like your skate shop.
Oh, please!
You got Eduskate.
Honored.
In Iowa.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And how is that going, man? Because like here's the thing: it's like skate shops. A lot of them close down.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of them have a tough time depending on where it is.
Of course.
Online's taking over. How have you? How's it going?
Yeah.
Like how do you manage? And
Absolutely. And my words of wisdom to anybody out there in the skate shop world, you know, anyone serving time behind a counter in a skate shop is location is everything. I would have been out of business a million years ago if I would have went back to Portland, Oregon and tried to compete against my homies at Cal Skate, which I'd never do because I have morals and ethics.
Sure.
I never would have stayed in LA because there's a million skate shops and that's a bad idea. I never would have done it in San Diego when I was living there or Oceanside because there's 100 shops on PCH, right? Every major city from the San Diego border to the Canadian border has a good skate shop, and why would I jump on anyone's toes or hurt someone's feelings or, you know, try to do that? Because I go out of business too. It's just mean. It's just rude. Like, we're brothers. We shouldn't compete against each other. We're skateboarders, right? And the reason I'm in business is because first time I flew to Cedar Rapids, Iowa to visit my now in-laws, to do the whole meet the parents, you know, like my wife was like, you gotta meet my parents. And they're doing the whole, like, who's this psycho? Like, oh, my daughter's not dating a serial killer, you know, like it was like meet the parents, like the movie. My father-in-law was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard, as we should, as everyone should be, you know, like, you know, there should be some skepticism.
were you dropping your appreciation and all that
I
stuff?
didn't.
Right?
I was
on your best behavior.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You know, and I flew back there.
I appreciate. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So I flew back there the first time I went there, and I just fell in love with the area. There's all these skate spots. All these locals took me to all these amazing granite spots and low to high ledges and manual pads, and, you know, just tons of stuff, right? And I'm like, this place is amazing. And I blew it a bearing. And this is what made me start a skate shop. Shit you negative. Freaking, like, I'm not joking. Like, literally, like, I'm like, okay, where do I go get a bearing? Where's the nearest shop? Because I assumed there was one. My whole life has been the West Coast, where there's, you know, shops are like Starbucks. They're everywhere. And these kids are like, you got to drive to Iowa City, which is 23 miles away. And it was a Zoomies. It wasn't even a real, you know, I mean, you know what I mean? It wasn't a shop, right? And I was like 23 miles to a Zoomies and 23 miles back. So that's 40 some miles round trip for a bearing. And a light bulb went off in that moment. I was like, what the fuck am I doing in San Diego? You know? And I was riding for Airspeed at the time, and I'm not going to name drop them. I was making good money. That sponsor alone with my shoe in Walmart made me enough that I didn't have to do any day jobs.
Which sponsor?
Airspeed shoes. At the time, it's cheesy Walmart shoe, Airspeed. Yeah, I remember
that.
Yeah, the Walmart shoe. I had a shoe in Walmart. Yeah, the Sherwood. Yeah, it was in Walmart. Yeah.
How do
what? Yeah. A lot of people don't know that about me. I mean, the weird Walmart shoppers see me once in a while wearing one, like, dude, you know, I'm like, you know, but
how did you get this sponsor?
Yeah,
dude, out of nowhere, bro. Like, literally, Jason McMaster, the team manager at the time, walked to me at the Carlsbad skate park, and I was just doing these little airwalk flyouts of the bowl, joking around, just geeking with my homies. He comes in and was like, hey, you have a shoe sponsor right now? I was getting, shout out to Mark Waters, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was flowing me S footwear. And so I was getting flow, but I wasn't making money. I was like, well, I get these in the mail. He's like, how about we make you some money, give you a shoe? I was like, yeah.
So, give you a shoe right off the bat?
Well, we'll work. He'd used some really fancy terms like we'll develop into blah blah blah. He'd use some jargon, but yes, it was hinted that I'd have a shoe.
Wait a minute, was this like a
pull it up,
Airspeed?
Sure.
What was it called?
Airspeed footwear. Yeah, me, Mike McGill. Brian Sumner.
I totally missed this. I totally missed this shoe company.
I remember this vaguely hearing about it, but I didn't really look into it.
Yeah, so Bill Mann owned it. He sold Airwalk to Payless for X amounts of millions of dollars. And then his wife said, you need to get out of the house more. You're annoying the shit out of me.
Oh, my God.
And she said, I'll start Airspeed. Yeah, there I am. Look at those horrible ads. Are those ads? That was me making fun of that. Was just me making fun of that weird early 2000s broed out shit. But yeah, that's there I am. Yeah, like I said, you can pull up images from the interweb of me, man. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so how did this go? So they were they in Walmart?
Yeah, if you look
at
up the Sherwood, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look up the Sherwood.
Yeah.
But were they already in Walmart, or was
they were already in Walmart? Yeah, they basically, and this is so funny because it's the exact opposite of what I do now. And of course, I hate companies like this now, which is hilarious. I'm on both sides of the fence. This is like, there's that movie with Nicolas Cage in it where he goes from being like a Wall Street asshole to like kind of like a Scrooge McDuck thing where he goes and then has to become a car tire salesman, and that's kind of what it was. It was like that for me, where I was ruining small skate shops with this thing. These shoes retailed at $25.
Oh my God!
And they're decent skate shoes with Volk soles and stuff.
In Walmart.
And Mike McGill was the first one to have a pro model. He was the first one to jump on this grenade and make money and stuff. And Mike McGill was just funny because he owns a skate shop. Coincidentally, he was the first one there. And then they were like, "We need a street skater," and I guess I fit the bill. Whatever, I was there. It is. There's the Sherwood. Yeah, it was in Walmart. There I am with it. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, he came in those crazy colorways. It's like Sherwood Forest, right? Like their art department's like, we need to do something foresty because your last name, blah, blah. So you can tell it looks like a fucking tree, right? Bark and greens and, whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and I won't discuss numbers, just like Kalis. I'm, smart to do that. And, it made me enough money that I could afford to open my skate shop. And they hit me. They actually fired me from the team because I got really drunk and did an interview with Ride Channel that I'm not proud of. But I said some mean shit about my team manager being a dick, and it wasn't smart. It was one of those throwing the bus. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol anymore for a reason. But anyway,
they called you after they saw it.
Well, yeah, after it came out, I thought it was kind of I was trying to be comedic and sarcastic, but they didn't read
in print, right? It's hard to
it's hard to read the sarcasm.
Tone, yeah, so it didn't resonate.
So yeah, I didn't Eduskate, and so like they shit cameo. There was a clause in my contract which I didn't see where defamation of the company.
Dude, there's a clause where they could kick you off for sneezing, probably.
Oh yeah, literally. Yeah, they're lawyers. You know how it is.
Yeah. So you got the shoe. It got into Walmart. Yeah. They were already in Walmart. Yeah. You said, or they were going.
They're in Walmart. Yeah.
Okay. When you got on the team. Yeah. They were already in Walmart.
Yeah. There was 85,000 pairs in Walmarts all around the country of the Sherwood.
85,000
in all doors.
Let me do the math.
All doors of Walmart. All doors.
I don't know about all doors. It was the lower 48, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think it was in Alaska, Hawaii, or any other abroad like any of the other ones. But yes, it was in the lower 48.
Well, if you got 85,000 pairs, you're definitely going to be in quite a few doors.
Yeah. There's a lot of doors. Royalties. Yeah. And that's a good question because I'm sorry, I'm so hard of hearing, man. Yeah. But I got royalties on the shoe, and I had a base pay, just like any shoe sponsor should.
Okay. Wow.
Made $1,500 a month just on my base pay, and that paid at that time. Now it's nothing now, but like in those days, you could afford an apartment in Oceanside and your insurance and all that. And they were flipping the bill for me to live the dream, I guess. And here I was in my late 20s, and I was with them until I was 33. So I mean, I was still juicing that, I guess you could say.
So wait, how long was that? That you were with them?
Oh God, I was with them for 3 years. Yeah, okay. Or four, almost four. I think it was almost four now. I think about it.
Okay. So that little chunk of money, 80,000 pairs of shoes, Debs. I don't know what your royalty was, but we could do some math and find out.
Well, it's interesting. It's $25. Retail is $25.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's pennies on the dollar.
You can't be caking too hard.
Yeah, it wasn't too insane. It gave me enough that I could live comfortable and start my shop. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
amazing.
It wasn't enough to like buy a house. It was more like, I can take 20 grand and start a skate shop in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And if it works, cool. If it doesn't, well, at least I gambled, Yep. I started my shop with 20 grand, by the way. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, that's a lot of money though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a lot of money, but yeah.
Okay. So Airspeed footwear, we're watching a little
Airspeed.
It's a straight made on iMac.
They still have, oh my God, look at this. This is like, I don't know. Their department was weird. Oh God, this is my welcome to the team part. Look at me drinking my coffee. Look at that. Oh my God, I was so young. No wrinkles. What the fuck? Wow, I skate on carpet out the door. Why? I don't know.
Out the door.
Don't ask me, man. I don't know what I was thinking. Wow. I don't remember much, except I do remember Willie Santos laughing his ass off when I pulled this because I did like the overstees right here. Look at my face. I'm like, yeah. Oh,
first of all, do you know how hard it is to pressure flip out of a manual? It is like super difficult.
That's the Grand Blvd photo. That's literally what we were talking about earlier. That's what he did the sequence of. That we filmed. It's a difficult one. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so you open, so you okay, let's go back to this. So the bearing, you broke a bearing, you had to drive 40 miles to get a new
40 miles to get a fucking
and that
bearing.
was the
moment.
Inspiration.
Good man. Fuck yeah, look at him. He's on point like a tattoo.
That was, take notes, Kelly.
Okay,
take notes.
This is,
you're doing good.
This is a,
He's like, you got this, Chris.
and so you took 20 grand and opened a skate shop.
Yep.
Oh, so how's it been going? Because
And honestly,
go ahead.
my lesson to any skate shop owner is this.
Yeah.
You need to take a vow of poverty when you start a skate shop.
Okay.
Don't think you can have employees. Be there every day. Just work at the counter yourself. Be a mom and pop obfuscation, Don't try to hire somebody and be lazy. Don't buy a bunch of shit that won't sell and give it away every week. You know what I mean? Buy stuff that, in as much as it hurts my feelings, there's a lot of companies that I love my friends that work there or the people that own them. I want to support them. But I can't because in my market, sadly, they don't sell. And a lot of shop guys, they have big hearts like me. They're like, oh, I'll buy a bunch of this because, it's my friend's company. And then they sit on it forever. And then it warps and it goes bad. And then it's, tarnished and this and this, whatever. It yellows if it's a wheel, whatever.
So you're dialed in smart with it based on how you buy and just the whole deal.
Yes, be very smart. Take a
But by the way,
poverty,
$20,000 that's a good type of money to start with.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've heard people, starting shops is not cheap, dude.
Well, you need to get the display cases. You need to get hangers. You need to do hanger, whatever hanger rods.
Build out.
You need to build out.
I love the industry term, build out.
You have to stock it.
Yeah.
What about when? Did you have to? How long have you been in business?
13 years this
13
May.
years.
Wow.
So when
13 years I've been standing behind that counter, no employees, just me, myself, and I.
No way.
Wait a minute, who's running the shop right now?
My wife.
Oh, okay.
She's standing there right now losing her mind.
Okay.
I texted her right before we started the show. She's like, dude, you got to get back here. These kids are killing me.
Oh my god.
I love my wife to pieces, but she's a saint to take over for me before I flew out here. Yeah.
Okay, so when you started the skate shop,
isn't that saying, yeah, she's a trooper.
you stocked everything, but what about when Nike came in and there was a big debacle about them wanting to, you had to buy a certain amount. And
10 grand a season, baby.
10 grand a season.
Yeah, they want, and then they drop ship if you don't make the quotas, and then they cut you, and then they
say
put you
it again slowly. They what?
Yeah. So they drop ship. So if you don't order 10 grand a season, if you just kind of flake on them like dandruff, they'll send you 10 grand of shit, and then you're on the hook.
This is old. This is when Nike first came in, right? Ways. They don't do that now.
I don't know. I haven't fucked with Nike.
Oh, you don't have any?
I don't fuck with any VF Corp stuff. I don't fuck with any Nike. I don't fuck with any Adidas.
Oh wow.
New Balance. Shout to you guys. They love me. I love them. They're my best friends. We are harmonized.
Not even Vans.
Not even Vans.
Oh, and the reason. Wait. Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the reason behind it?
And okay, as you guys know from all my old footage, as you guys know, my whole life I've been wearing Dickies. I've been wearing Dickies since I was 6 years old. My dad wore them. All my construction friends wore them.
Yeah.
Always loved Dickies. Right?
Okay.
And so, Vans. I wore Vans. A lot of my Willie Santos used to flow me shoes for Vans. So just to have that said before I sound like I'm saying anything negative about that brand or anything. I carried Dickies when we first opened up, and I was going to kind of spawn that into Vans, but the Dickies account was a lower minimum. And I was stoked. And then Vans, when they got about VF Corp, they just called me one day. They didn't even give me a chance to sell enough. They're like, you're cut. No more. This is 2 weeks before COVID hit, by the way. Yeah, real nice.
Wow.
They called me and they're like, you can't carry Dickies anymore. If we find out you're doing anything back, channels like this, we can, take you to court, and they're dicks. And I'm like, fuck you. I'll carry Ben Davis. You know what I mean? Fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Word. Do you realize you're dealing with a skateboarder? You know who I am? I'm the kind of motherfucker that, would rather live in a tent and ride a skateboard every day than make money, You
smash VHS tapes in your apartment.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck you guys. So this chick just, calls and hangs up, this corporate asshole, doesn't even understand the culture or anything. And
wait a minute.
So
can I ask you a quick question? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
VF Corp owns Dickies.
Yep, and Vans now. Yeah,
and Vans now, but this was before.
So I had a Dickies account before Vans, and then I knew that I heard a lot of rumors that they were going to be sold and stuff.
Okay.
And so I was kind of like, okay, maybe when they sell, I can work it into a Vans account or whatever. And I thought about getting Vans, but I couldn't take that leap. 10 grand a season is a big gamble, and plus I'm in a small town of 100,000 people. how am I going to push 10 grand of anything without being like an outlet mall of it? You know what I mean? Like that's impossible. There's no brand I can push 10 grand a season of.
Okay.
And so Nike, I knew would end to my demise. Vans and Adidas at the same thing, and also Converse would do this to me. And so I never
didn't even get any.
No.
So you never did the Nike thing. You never did anything.
I went full kosher. Like, nah, fuck. I'm not even touching that pork. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I even touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, word. I was like, I'm not even fucking touching this shit.
But that's amazing that you still were able to sustain without having those brands.
And the only reason that is because thank you for New Balance. Thank you to Lakai. I'm sorry about the recent stuff. I'm not touching that with the 10-foot. I wouldn't touch that with the 10-foot pole. Soul Tech. They all really came to bat for me. Anytime I did a contest, we do manual pad contests, they'd send me tons of free Prati. I had, some guys I'd flow stuff to that were, of note in the community. And so basically, when those guys would come in, there's a couple of them I can't switch the religion of, right? They're like Nike for life, and I get that. We all have what we prefer. There's one in my town, which I won't name drop. I love him like a brother, but he loves DCs, and I don't have a DC account either. And I tried to give him a New Balance. I gave him free shoes and all kinds of free, every shoe I carried, I gave him. He just couldn't skate them, and that's just, it is what it is,
Sure.
But, it's just one of those things. I was trying to get him on shop floor or whatever, but it's only because I could change a lot of people in the community's minds. I would be like, you like Adidas? Well, you like the gum sole rubber on this New Balance just as much. By the way, this has a really good cup sole too. You like cup soles? Well, to break it all down, all these are made in China by sweatshops anyway. It doesn't really matter what brand you buy, really. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you know what I mean, right? Like, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, a skateboard is a dead maple tree. A urethane wheel is petroleum. It's just aluminum alloy that as a truck. I mean, any day if you have the right geometry or the right guild, you can make it work in the same arena. So I just switched them.
Okay.
And that's the other thing skull shops don't understand is you need to switch people. A lot of people come like, I'm only Vans for life. You're like, well, tell me why you're Vans for life. Explain to me. And you kind of become a psychologist. You're behind the counter. You're like, okay, well. So you like Vans because of this and this and this? Okay, well, guess what? This brand offers this and this and this as well.
Sure.
And you know what? Guess what? I'll take 15, 25% off. If you don't like them, come back and give me a hard time.
Work
and then
with them.
I'll work with you, Yeah. And the other thing it's kept me in business, and I would have went out of business 7 years ago when the internet got heavy metal on me. Like, dude, I like to use that word, heavy metal, because it's just, how it is. You doom scroll, all of a sudden you like 16 boards and 10 beanies for $5.48, or whatever. Is I will tell every one of my customers, especially if I see them on their phone trying to compare prices, I say in these words clearly, I will match any competitor's price, including Amazon.
I thought you were going to say, get the hell out of my shop.
Yeah, would that be rad?
Could you imagine?
I would love to do that. FTC, I miss the old school pugilistic badass shops like that.
But
like
that doesn't
Ando
work though. If you're a dick to somebody coming into a skate shop, I think I'm going to go back there.
You can't do it.
I'm not going to go back there.
Those old school shops like that. Like I remember when Supreme opened up on Fairfax. I went in there with Jeff King. This is in my American Misfits days when I was doing that TV show, American Misfits, and I don't want to say stardom, but you know what I mean? Like whatever. I had some note. I had my character Notorious Nate on there, whatever. I was, attempting to be an actor. I can't remember. By the way, I'm dyslexic. I cannot memorize a script to save my life. So no idea why I thought I could be an actor. That's like a guy with no eyes trying to be a pilot. I don't know. But anyway, like me and Jeff King go in there, right? We're like, taking a break from a shoot, and we go in there, and this guy behind the counter is like, just looks at me hard as fuck. Like, you guys got to get out of here. We're like, dude, we just want to skate that bowl. He's like, nah. And I was like, dude, why can't we skate the bowl? And he's just like a total dick. Like, no, I've seen that cheesy show. Like, we don't want the cheesy dudes. Like, he was just like blunt. I was like, wow, that's kind of, I was like, that's kind of sick. Like, I was kind of like, this guy's my hero.
I love that. He's leaving the shop like, that was dope.
That was
like,
awesome.
It's like, dude, like, it's like,
awesome.
I was like, we just got kicked out of Supreme. Jeff King's guys built to shred shit. I got American Misfits. And he just looked at us like, no, fuck these two clowns. Like we don't need cheesy guys in here. Like a bar bouncer. Like, you ever seen that? Like the cliche thing at a nightclub where it's like these hot chicks get in and the ugly guys are like, no, fuck you. You're not coming.
At the door.
That's what he did to us. He did the nightclub on us, bro. And me and Jeff were like, what the fuck? But I was also kind of like, I wish I could run my shop like that. I can't. I have to be friendly.
Of course.
If because everyone's asked her, I'd be on the street in that tent down the street with those dudes.
Well, you have to. I mean, also, think about the little kids that come in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
always nice to them.
Like, I went into Rip City for my first skate shop.
Yes.
It was intimidating,
dude,
as all hell. I don't know what it was intimidating.
It was intimidating.
And I'm it was intimidating.
And I know you got a Jason Lee board there.
That's right.
Did it sadly burn in the
It did
fire?
not. I have that at my apartment. Yeah.
Okay, because
but a lot of other stuff did.
When I heard your parents' house burnt down, the first thing I thought was that Jason Lee board you got at Rip City.
I got a lot.
I was a little concerned.
I appreciate that. I got a lot of DMs asking about that board.
Okay, and I didn't want to be that dickhead to add.
No,
to those DMs,
it's fine. No. I don't think that anybody. I liked all the. It was nice that people were reaching out like that too.
It was horrible.
But I lost a lot of editorial stuff. I have a lot of boards at my apartment, but editorial I lost, like magazines I was in and all that stuff.
Do you know Kevin runs Look Back Library?
Yeah, of course.
Hit him up, bro. He can probably get you everything. And I actually have a lot of your archives too. I have a Look Back Library at my shop. Let me know. Like I have that.
If you ever see Chris Roberts ad, let me know.
The fakie tray flip switch manual, switch pop shove, front side pop shove it out in Barcelona.
Yeah, parallel.
I got that issue. I'll send it to you. Parallel. Thank you. Parallel. Yes. When I went there last time, they tore those manual pads out.
They put them back.
They did?
Yeah.
They put newer ones on the
no way.
Spot.
Oh my God.
I thought they were putting them back in the exact place that they were.
Wow.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, it was all fenced off when I was there a year ago. But you know,
that's different. They're a little different. They put on this little slope thing.
Yeah,
I think they just.
Thank God.
I don't know, but there's this gravel and everything where the old ones are.
Okay,
like you just can't see that. I think they're still there, but it's gravel.
Wow.
I can't remember.
No worries. Me and my wife went out there on a filming trip.
Yeah.
She films me. She's my filmer. We went out there a year ago and we went there and they tore them out. I was pissed, but we went to the flower shop up the street and had a good time. And, you remember the flower ledge, the angle iron ledge? It's called.
Yeah.
You know the long angle iron ledge. That's actually just called the flower. Translated as flower shop, but of course it's something in Catalonian that Right. But yeah.
But wait a minute. Let's keep going to the skate shop thing because like I'm super interested in how you survive throughout these times.
Yeah.
Because as we were kids growing up, we lived at skate shops.
It was everything.
It
right?
was the
foundscation.
It was a foundscation of a young kid watching videos, getting schooled there. What's hot, what's not, what's whack, what's tight.
It was our temple. It was our religious institution.
So
you know what I mean? It was. I mean, Cal Skate to me was the biggest thing in the world.
Being older now and running a skate shop, how's the vibe there? Or do you try to procure? Do you try to replicate that for the young kids, or do they care?
I do try to replicate. And it's everyone's has such a different personality, right? Things are so fragmented that some people come in and they love it, right? They're just like, dude, this is amazing. How do I do without the shop? Other people come and like, okay, I saw this Andy Anderson board for $10.95 online. You know, whatever. You know?
Sure.
By the way, I love Andy Anderson. I just used that as a, I don't know, just a reference. I love you, Andy. But that was just, the only thing I could think of at the top of my head. I love Andy, but his fans are like juggalos. They're intense, like campy. they're like, you're like, you don't have the new Andy Anderson pizza cutter. What do you mean? Like, I have the new Andy Anderson. It won't match my Anderson skillet. Like, what do you mean you don't have the new Andy Anderson two-way dildo? Like, what the fuck? Like, these dudes come in, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I'm like, I don't think Skate One makes that. And like, he has, dude. Much love to that guy. Like, love that guy. His trick selection. I mean, who can backflip, front foot, impossible out other than Ocean Howl, maybe? Like, my hero, right? Love the guy. Love him. We've talked on DMs. We're going to try Skate Stoner, maybe.
Okay.
He's been ghosting me. So, he's amazing. I want to hang out with him.
Best.
He's a great dude. He grew up, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but he grew up being a fan of me, so we want to hang out. But his fans are fucked. They're like so gnarly, bro. They come in, they're just like, and they're mean too. Like, what do you, like, they're like Comic-Con nerds. Like, what do you mean you don't have the Andy Anderson blue colorway? You only have this Anderson. This is so last week. And they're just like gnarly, like pissed too. Like they look at you like about to have a heart attack, like you're a hospital physician about to, administer CPR. Like, you're like, dude, just chill, bro. Just chill like Elvis. It's okay. Like there's like, it's just an Andy Anderson board. It's okay. I have the other Anderson board and his grip tape and his wheels and whatever else is Andy Anderson brand. Like that guy, he's got great marketing, bro.
Yes, he does. He's great.
My God.
He's great.
I admire that. I wish I would have had that kind of marketing when I was his age.
He could talk. He's so good at talking to you about skateboarding. He could talk you into riding a board that there's no board there. It's just a truck. Like you'd be like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Like, I think I could rip on that. That's how good of a like he explains things so well. Okay, so you got the different customer aspect, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, now what about the kids and surviving also? Like, do the kids kick it in there and watch skate videos?
All day.
Okay,
I got
so
lurkers.
you have a setup with like TV and couch, whatever.
All day videos,
Sick.
bro.
Sick.
I have a DVD setup, I have a YouTube setup, and I also have a VHS setup.
Get 'em.
So yeah, the VHS setup, which I just put in, my mother-in-law, thank you, Lori, she bought me an old VCR, and I have one at my house I didn't want to ruin in the skate shop because I know people are gonna be getting hard on it. So I'm bringing all my old videos down there, all the classics.
I love it.
Shackle Me Not and Hocus Pocus and Questionable, you name them, all of them, all the great work that you've been in, all your body of work, by the way, big props. Oh, I'm a big fan. Like I'm trying my best not to fan out, Oh yeah, look at these weird videos. Like I meet random dudes at skate parks and they will come in and sometimes they'll know who I am or not. And sometimes there's like weird YouTubers like, I do these things on skate shops around the country. And I'm like, cool, come on,
really?
hang out.
Okay.
So they find stuff of me and here I am just setting up a board for a customer. That's what I do. For the past 13 years, that's me. I just stand there, I crack jokes. I make weird Grinch faces. I set up things and I give insight. I take things apart. I put them back together again. I mean, I've had customers where they've ran out of gas, they're like 6 miles away and they're like, dude, I skated down here, blah, blah, and now I don't want to skate back. And I give them a lift to their car and, put gas in their car. And, I've gone to weddings and funerals. I've gone to everything. I've got to know people so well.
Built a community there.
Exactly. I built a good foundation, like we said, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of good guys that I'm sad that I don't have enough money to sponsor people adequately. Because when I first opened up, I had a team, like if you get bored in YouTube, Eduskate Team 2012, where you look up 7 days with Adam Miller, I filmed him over a 7-day period, which is personally my favorite one I made because I just filmed this guy over 7 days. And it's, to me, of course, I'm biased because I know the kid, but it's really good footage. Like it'll rival a lot of the, it's up to par of today's skating, for lack of a better term. But I sadly, I had 2 break-ins, and not to name drop, but one of my team members broke into the shop.
No way.
Yeah. He was pissed. I was only giving him 2 boards a month, and then he wanted a third one. My wife's like, "No, dude, sorry, we can't afford it." And then a week later, he broke into the shop, and I put $1,000 thing on social media, like a bounty, a reward for whoever could find who broke in. I won't say the names, but his roommate snitched on him for the grand, and put him in jail in cuffs.
No
way. Yeah. Then I had another break in a few months later. A guy cut a hole in the wall from the tattoo parlor next door, broke in.
What?
Yeah, it was fucked, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. And
what is this?
Breaking into
Ocean's 11 over here? What's going on?
It is, Brian, over skateboards, dude. Over skateboards. And the dumb thing is both times.
Hold on.
Is that insane? Yeah.
Okay, first of all, the skater broke in.
Yeah.
And stole a bunch of shit?
$1,500 worth of stuff to be exact.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought my reward is almost as much as it was stolen, but I wanted to make a point.
That's crazy.
I wanted to sit down. I wanted to be like the sheriff in town, like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you only stole $100 worth of shit, I'll put $1,000 bounty on you because fuck you. You know what I mean?
Did you pay the bounty?
Oh, I did. And right to the roommate. Okay. Right there in the police station.
And then what happened to you? I love it at the police station. Here you go, buddy.
The roommate said, I'm giving you up.
Yeah.
So,
he owed the roommate money.
That would come back to the house.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You don't have
and so
you don't have a video set up like a
I do now. Oh. I was so naive then when I first opened up. I thought all you need is a lock in the door because I'm a skate shop. Who wants to rob me? Rob a jewelry store. You know what I mean? Rob someone. This is a brother. This is a temple. This is a church. This is, like I said, I took a vow of poverty start. I was like, this is a religion to me. Skateboarding is serious, And I thought everyone would go in there. It's like a dojo. It's a sacred place. I thought, because you know how it is. I grew up in Burnside, right? There's a lot of dudes at Burnside. Shout out to all my homies down there. But they'd be involved in criminal activity. But the skate shop was always off grounds. You know what I mean? They got into their smash and grabs and their drug addiction, whatever. But none of them ever fucked with Cal Skate, the shop that I grew up with. You know what I mean? I thought I'd be the same way, but I was wrong.
They're going to get caught regardless, though, because it's such a small community. You're going to see, like, a board that this dude's skating, and that got stolen from the shop.
Word.
So it was inevitable probably that dude.
Word. That's what happened. The second break-in was that. The first one, I put the $1,000 bounty, and the next one, the next day, someone's like, this dude's selling shit at the shop.
What happened? So how did he break in through the tattoo shop?
So
he worked at the tattoo shop or something?
At this point,
seems the most random
so it's crazy.
shit.
So just like Kelly brought up, so this is the craziest shit, bro. So the first break-in, I was an idiot. I was naive. I'll admit it. I didn't know shit about running business. I just had a lock on the door, bolt, deadbolt. By the second time, I was ready, right? I had cages around the doors, the big like metal things pawn shops have, right? I had an alarm system. I had cameras.
You're buzzing people in to come into the skate
no,
shop?
just the ones that at nighttime you close at night, just so your glasses ain't broken. Like the, the metal gate,
the sliding gate.
Yeah, sliding gate. Thank you, sir. God, you're a gentleman and scholar. I love it. Thank you for helping me out on that. I was like, too much coffee. I was like, and so I had those. I had the gates, right? I had cameras, and I had an alarm. I had everything, right? And this dude, the tattoo shop had nothing but a lock. So he breaks in there, steals something like 10 grand worth of tattoo equipment, right? Then cuts a hole with a sawzall through the wall. Like, it was literally like the Grinch Stole Christmas, dude. Like, the surveillance footage just shows a saw come through the wall. He pops in, walks to my cash register, which of course had nothing in it because I'm not an idiot. Took my computer, took my cash register thinking there's money in it, which there's no money in there. What kind of moron leaves money overnight? Come on, I wasn't born yesterday. Or if I was born yesterday, I stayed up all night. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm not trying to pull this bullshit. And this is the funniest thing ever. When the cops come to look at the footage, they're like, oh, that's Timmy Hill. Oh, that's his buddy Jeremy Haynes. Like, they knew him. Like, these were like the wet water bandits in frickin' Home Alone. Like, these guys had such a rough, you know what I mean? Like literally, like they're like Joe Pesci and the fucking other dude. Like, they literally they broke in all around town doing this shit, and they'd go to jail. They were heroin addicts, and then he'd get out 6 months later with a slap on the wrist. But this is the fucking crazy part, dude. And this is where I know God loves skateboarders, dude. This is where I'm not gonna get too soy here, but like, check this out, dude. I'm like, fuck, they're gonna get another slap on the wrist. Like, I'm gonna get restitution. Like, well, they're junkies. Like, whatever, right? Okay, they're looking for these dudes. They're on the lam for like a month and a half on my break-in and several other break-ins around town, right? Everyone's looking for them, right? They get caught breaking into this place called Restore, which is a Habitat for Humanity place, which is totally heartless. I get it. I'm for profit. I'm the bad guy break in. But this place is a non-profit place that builds houses for poor people and low-income people. You know, Jamie Carter started a million years ago. You can look up Habitat for Humanity. They break in there, right? They have on-site security guards that are armed, right? They fucking tackle these guys and call the police. The crazy thing is when they tackled Tim Hill and Jeremy Haynes, they had 2 firearms on them that had all the serial numbers filed off of them. So they're ghost guns with cop killer rounds in them. Ooh. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and they caught them like, you know, in the cut when they weren't looking. And these dudes, you know, they meant business.
Wow.
And so they went to federal, so I had no restitution. But the nice thing is they both went away for 10. Timmy went away for 10 years and Jeremy went away for 15. Wow. So yeah, I was like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
You got a little vindication.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And like when the cops came back, bad news, you're not getting any restitution. Good news is they're going away for a long time. I was like, fuck those guys.
How much did they steal?
Well, they stole my computer, a Macintosh.
Okay.
So they stole like, well, my
2,000.
Yeah. Like about $2,000 with the software and everything, according to my wife. So about a little under, I think it was 1,800. But yeah, no, not a whole lot. All they stole, they didn't fuck with the boards, they didn't fuck with the inventory. These guys were so strung out, they don't know what a skateboard was. They're like, I don't know, take a cash register. I don't know, any of this shit is on the wall.
Well, they probably sold that. They probably sold the laptop for like $50 and got their little fix.
Yep, exactly. They could go take a needle nap in the alley, you know.
So,
damn.
Okay, so besides the robberies and everything in the skate shop, like, how's it going? Do you profit off of it?
Good.
Do you make a good living? I just want to know how. Yeah. In this day and age with skateboarding, especially right now, taking kind of a dip.
Yeah.
Right.
My wife, right before I flew her, because I knew that was going to come up in this conversation, she said this is our worst year on record in 13 years.
Really?
According to her, but I don't notice it because I'm Ronald McDonald and she's Joan Kroc. You know what I'm saying? She deals with all the numbers, all that reality shit. Like I don't live in reality, she does.
Okay.
I'm like fucking Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect that was like, I don't care how much it costs, just build this. I drew this up in my head, right?
Okay.
And you know, like he designed the Guggenheim Museum in New York and you know a bunch of other notable things, you know. Yeah. And then his investors would be like, well, you're kind of crazy. It's gonna cost us $40 million, motherfucker. He's like, I don't care, you know, build it. And my wife does this thing called reality. She's like, well, you know, we really can't afford that right now. Like you're kind of insane, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't, you know, take a trip to fucking England to see your friends, you know. Right. But like, you know, to be honest, I never noticed the difference between the waves ups and downs because I'm having so much fun. I do what I love and I love what I do for a living. Then when it's slow, I don't care. And when it's fast, I don't care because I'm just standing there bullshitting all day with people and like literally breaking rusting bearings off of axles of trucks and re-gripping boards. You know what I mean? I'm doing all that fun, just nitty-gritty stuff. Yeah, I'm on my grind. I'm sitting there like a mechanic, just like, like when someone comes with I can fix anything but a broken heart. You know what I'm saying? Like people come in there with some fucking weird ass shit, like one thunder with an indie hanger or whatever, you know. I'm like, I got you, man. Don't worry about it. I'll put a new kingpin, you know, whatever, you know, like, you know, new pivot cups, what I got you, you know. But the thing is like, I don't notice this. My wife, if she was here, could tell you more about it. That's why she's getting gray hairs, I suppose. But I would say one out of every 50 people come in and buy something now instead of one out of every 20. You know, it's a numbers game. Yeah. You always get lurkers that come in. Mm-hmm. I get it. Everyone's guarding their wallets. Everyone's scared of spending money right now. The economy's weird, you know, everything's expensive.
The beginning of the year is always tough too.
Exactly. Hey man, dude, you're a genius. You should be like a Mensa member or something, man. Like, you know, and so like, you know, like in years past, you know, we've had really good years. COVID, you know, coincidentally was our best years. Mm-hmm. Like our best years on record because everyone was like, I'm going to die anyway. Might as well get a skateboard and die. Like, you know, I was like, oh, like all these people are scared of riding skateboards as kids would come and like, you know what? I'm 49 years old, never rode a skateboard, but now's the time because there's a disease everywhere. I guess I can't play on my beer league baseball team anymore, you know? So I offset the cost of the shop too with screen printing. My wife owns a screen printing business. Oh, wow. So we have, you know, it's a big suite. So we have the back area. We call it speakeasy screen printing because no one really knows about it. But she likes it that way because she's the solo soldier back there and I go and help her with certain things. But she does 98% of it. I just do little tiny, gopher stuff. But she does a lot of shirts for a lot of local bars, restaurants, rock bands, you name it, you know what I mean? Right. Bachelorette parties, whatever, she prints shirts for people. She does actually all her own apparel too, Gotcha. So that's nice. That saves us the middle guy in that too, So that helps a lot when times are slim. And it goes, and vice versa. Sometimes her times are slim. She doesn't have as many accounts open or as many people printing shirts. And then, the skate shop keeps that in business and vice versa. So we kind of underfund each other like any corporation, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, Pontiac's not doing so good. Saturn's doing better, whatever. GM, Yeah, we did the Lee Iacocca thing. You know what I mean?
Make it work.
Yeah, word up.
So Damn, worst year ever.
That's what my wife said.
Right.
And I don't even notice it because I'm having fun.
Right.
But like, and then I don't know what that means number-wise. I never look at the numbers because I, as you can tell, I'm like, dude, look at me. I'm jumping all over the place. Can you imagine if someone's like, you're going to die soon? I'd be like, I would be able to handle it, Like, look, if this is how I am when I'm happy, I'm like a chihuahua, but
So that was 2024 was the worst year?
Yes,
Okay.
according to her, according to Lindsay Podzamak, the only woman that puts up with my crazy shit. But it's and that was the thing. And sadly, I had to cut the team because it came down to where I just couldn't afford them anymore. I loved them. I loved all of the guys, and we're all good terms. We still film together, hang together. Some of them moved away. They grew up. They had kids. You know how it is. Yeah. 13 years. A lot of them. It's just. And it's a shop team, It's like a beer league baseball team or a bowling club. I'm not doing anything big. You know what I mean? Like,
what are you supplying them? Like 2 boards a month?
Yeah, 2 boards a month and 25% discount. That was what I was doing at the time, and stuff like that. Yeah. And then of course, anytime someone would send me free stuff, I gave it to them. Anytime, as it was like shops. We always love that. You talk to a sales rep like, hey, how about size 9 shoes for Adam Miller? He's ripping. I saw that latest clip he posted. Blah blah. Right. How about this for Dallas Heemstra? Whatever. I could go on. Guys that rode for me. Adam Miller, Ryan Miller, I could sit here forever, Skylar Donaldson, these are all guys that were riding for me in the early stages and stuff, but how I've moved on and gone into different things, gone to college, got degrees, 13 years, but there's a new crop, and as in a skate shop, you deal with the sponsor me thing every day, and it's just kind of like,
right.
You got to be very diplomatic and fair to way to word that you don't hurt his feelings and make them feel like, like what Jake Phelps did to me, right? But you also don't want to be, totally like, you're great. And then they're like, yeah, why do I get a bunch of free shit? And you're like, dude, because you just flipped up a curb. Have you looked around at what shop people are doing? I mean, when I drive 2 hours to Uprise in Chicago and I see their team, wow, that's a good outfit. Or I go 2 hours to the West to Subsect and I see Kevin Jones's program, I am high school baseball and they're playing college or double A, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, there's a lot of good talent in my town. I can't afford to do a lot for them, but when I afford it, I like I said, I love to flow shoes to people. I love giving free things to people, and I can't. Nothing puts a smile on my face more than when someone comes in with a cracked deck, and I got a free one just sitting on ice for them that they don't even know about. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, guess what? You Skateboy 125, right? There was this guy, and Garrett Ulrich. He was a big fan of you. And when we first opened up, I had you autograph a board for him just to send out, with one of my Crail Tap orders. Okay. And it's just, things like that. I loved it. And I surprised him. He didn't know that was coming. Oh, wow. He was just talking about you left and right one day in the shop. I was like, nice. I just, so yeah, I do stuff like that for people.
I don't think I ever saw it. I think somebody forged it. Maybe Sam Smith. No, I'm just kidding.
Could you imagine? He might have. It was the one with the kitty cat on it. That's all I remember.
I'm sure. Yeah, but sometimes we'll go down there and they'll be like, hey, sign the board. Yeah, for sure.
And it was just like, I do that for customers. Right. I like to go the extra mile for them, and surprise them with free trinkets here and there, when I can afford it, or, hey man, talk to my rep. Hey, this dude's a super fan of so-and-so. You can get his autograph. And it's always it's such a huge thing for us small shop owners when guys in your position, with your platforms can do that because it's just, it puts a smile on that dude's face. Eric Ellington did that for one of my customers too. Sick. This guy, awesome. He was just he was like, a teenager, just super hyped on Eric Ellington. He had the whole gear. He looked like Eric Ellington. He was he could have been a stunt double for him, You know what I mean? Eric Ellington would be like, go sit at the bar. Oh, he doesn't drink it, but go do this for me so I can go skate, whatever. I'm trying to be comedic. I don't know Eric Ellington does all day. But I just surprised him with an autographed, Eric Ellington board too, from Baker Boys. And so I love, and it's always fun when you can surprise people with that. Right. Like Adam Miller, he went viral years ago for doing a backflip down some stairs on the Ride Channel, he got millions of views and stuff. And, I facilitated that. I sent them a sponsor me tape actually to Birdhouse because he wanted to get on Birdhouse. And they're like, well, we don't know if we put him on the team, but you know what? We like to get one of those backflips in the warehouse for that. And so, things like that, like little tiny things. I can't do much. I can't afford to do much, but I like to use my connections to help people when I can.
I love that, dude.
And if there's someone I feel are worth it, of course, then I'll vouch for them like an agent, I'll be like, this guy's amazing. If they're not, then I get it, but I do my best to be.
So you're going to try to keep the lights on no matter what.
Absolutely.
And it's like your thing. It's like your passion. It's like almost what you needed years ago, skateboarding. You need this shop to
It is. That was a very good way of wording it, actually. Wow, I've never really thought about that granular, man. You should be a psychologist.
I feel like one on the show.
Seriously, wow, man. This is some Tony Robbins level shit over here, man. You know what I mean? This ain't the normal. This isn't the usual chit chat, man. This is some jumping jack slims, man. Like Pulp Fiction quote. But but yeah, I mean, it is. It's every part of my DNA. We had a flood back in 2016. And my wife, she always heard me bickering and moaning and being, just like any guy, you deal with people shoplifting or deal with, what we call a stroke where they just come in and they chew you out for 6 hours about how they want to buy this and this and this. And they're like, okay, I'll be back in 6 months. And you're like, dude, I just spent an hour trying to like arrange this setup for you. And I showed you all the price breakdown. And you're like, I got all this shit out of the case, and so she was like, she thought I hated the shop. But then in 2016, we were threatened to go underwater, like literally by the river, the Cedar River. And so we're sandbagging, we're building stuff. And she could just see it in my face. She's like, you actually love this place. I thought you just want to collect insurance and fucking move out west. Like, I was like, no, I really love this place. It's like my kid, just like, when you're, just like, how it is. Like, we all have our moments in anything. We have it with, we can get frustrated in many different things, right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, we all have those days, skating. We've all been there filming, I mean, dude, when you're in China for 2 weeks, I'm sure there's some days where it was like, this is heavy. Other days like, this is the most amazing day of my life. It's just like that with anything. With a shop, it's the same thing. Some days you're like, dude, I can't believe I just pulled that trick I tried for 3 months. Other days you're like, this is horrible. Why am I even trying this? My head hurts. This is horrible. And so like, there's dudes that, Josh Pakey, this guy, he comes in the shop all the time. Josh Pakey, huge props. He's another old guy like us, and he's like really my catalyst in staying there. Anytime I have a bad day, I want him to come to the shop and hang out because we can nerd about old skate trivia. We can talk about crazy stuff, and I call him the Bernard Hopkins of skateboarding because he's like, our age, still ripping hard as hell. He literally works in a body shop, like painting cars all day, but he still has energy to go after working 12-hour shifts of like paint all over his arms, just ripping. And like he's got switch flips down like double sets, like nothing. Like at our age, he's switch flipping a 3-flat-3. You know what I mean? Like he's really nimble. Like he's really good. Josh Pakey, yeah, and like he's one of those dudes that like. Hands down, if he would have moved out of Iowa in his prime, he's like that hometown hero guy. Like if Josh Pakey left when he was 16, just randomly said, fuck you, mom and dad, I'm taking my bags, I'm running to Killer Cali, he would have been a man of note. He would have been a Muska or a Kalis or, one of those guys that was like, I'm out of here, I'm out of my bad home life, a Stevie Williams, whatever, Sure. Insert someone that was like, I'm out, you know what I'm saying? And he's that guy. Like he's that guy where he still has it. I see old footage of him, I'm like, this guy could have been a big name, and I love talking to him because he's been through it. He loves it. He loves everything about skateboarding. And even though he never got his foot in the door, it's because, his choices, and there's nothing wrong with those choices, just, whatever, he still loves it more than anything. And I see him, he doesn't get defeated by anything. Like, and Josh Pakey, man, like I some days will have a bad year. I deal with like 30 assholes that come in from Zoomies, like, can you build this for me? Like, like I bought this board on Amazon. Can you put together the Zoomies? They put the trucks on backwards. Can you redo it? Like, why did you come here? And like I said, Zoomies is 23 miles away from me, but still I deal with the tidal wave, the aftershock of that.
Let me ask you a question though. Does that happen a lot where people buy stuff online and then come to your shop?
All the fucking time.
How do you do that? Do you
$10 service fee?
There you go. I was going to say, you got to do something.
You can put that shit together for free these days, unfortunately.
Exactly, yeah.
And you say like, hey, it's $10 service fee, but next time come to the shop, we'll help you pick stuff out and do the thing. Like, that's so crazy. Does that frustrate you?
Oh, it's frustrating as fuck, bro. Like, I get so frustrated. It's like, it pisses me off. I boil inside, but I just, oh, yes, good afternoon, sir. Yeah, well.
Well, you also,
I have that same board on the wall. I have that same Hello Kitty girl board. Anybody,
Are they mostly parents who are doing this or mostly kids?
Dipshit 20-something-year-olds, usually just stoner fuckers, like dogs. Eyes are dog dick red. They come and they're just stoned. They order some shit at 3 in the morning. They're just like, oh, bro. I was like, dude.
Well, it's interesting because like. Do you look at them too? Like, okay, maybe they ordered something off it, but maybe now they'll come back to the shop. Is it like hey, let me turn this into a positive?
I usually one every thousands like that where I do.
Oh yeah.
And I try to turn them, but most of the time you can't. They're so brainwashed. I have kids that come in, they're so brainwashed from the internet. They'll see my stories on like what came in off the truck that day. And they like will look at their phone, they're like, where's this board? I'm in a small shop. And they're like, where's this? Like on their phone. Or do you have this board? And like, I'm dude, the board wall's over there. Like I do, but like you could, all you got to do is like look for 8 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Look up, bro. Like look at the world. There's other things than screens in your life. It's scary, dude. Especially as Jeremy Klein fans. I love Jeremy. Been on many trips with him. Slept at his house. Used to wash his dog for a living. But fucking those fucking hookups fans are fucked up people, man. Jesus Christ, they make me want to pull my nails out with a fucking with a vice grip. Like they kind of like, do you have the hookups editions? Laminate colored red. And it's like. Wow, he created a weird ass breed of fanboys.
Very specific graphics and what they want. Yeah,
it has nothing to do with shape or feel or how. No. It's just
Do you carry your stuff?
I once in a while. Okay. Only when I want to shoot myself because it's never the right thing. Right. But like I love Jeremy. I had a lot of good times with him over the years. But motherfucker, dude, like. his fans.
I love how you
Jesus
love
Christ.
the shop, but it seems like there's a part.
Yeah,
It's like a love and hate.
It's a love and hate. It's a love and hate, man. It is. It's love and hate. But see, the thing is, there's these guys, like I said, like the Josh Pakeys that come in. So I'll have 100 of those fucking hookups fans that come in where I want to shoot myself.
But it's funny
then there's
because
one
like
guy
all
comes
the people that you dislike keep the shop running though.
Not
It's
really.
like-
They don't buy anything. They just come in and annoy me, and then they leave because I don't have it. And they order it online, and then I see them at the park a month later with it. Yeah, and that's why I'm talking all
But you
this shit.
can't carry everything.
It's
You're a
impossible.
small shop.
I'm small. My shop's only 1,200 square
But
feet.
you try to cater to those
I
that
do.
ask you,
I
like,
do.
why don't you carry this? And you hear that more than once or twice.
I
You're like,
do.
all right, I'm going to
I
carry
do.
that.
Yeah, I would never hate anybody buys anything from me, for the record. Anybody's ever buy anything from me, I got the utmost love for, But, and like, I will do anything for them. I'll go beyond the Call of Duty. I'm saying, like I said, there's this dude, Jacob Burgess. He was a local filmer guy, right? Dude was like 16 years old, right? He's past his curfew at his parents' house. He runs out of gas, right? He's like on the side of the road. I used to be an idiot. I had my cell phone number on the when we're off shop hours. Call me if you need something, like on the door, because that's how small of a town I live in.
No way.
Because a lot of times I'd just be at the skate park and I'd answer, be like, yeah, I can come reopen up for you or whatever. And I'd turn my cell phone off when I didn't want to be bothered. But I had my phone off. It was like midnight 30, right? Dude calls me up. He's like, dude, I'm out of gas. I need gas to get home for my curfew. Bro, can you help me out? He's bought things for me. I was like, absolutely. Since you're a customer, fuck yeah, like roadside service, absolutely.
You're the man, dude.
So I go get a thing of gas for my shed. You know what I mean? Like blah blah, blah right? I drive to like this parking lot. He's sitting there with his girlfriend. Stoned out of his mind. I fucking put some gas in. I just give him a wave, like you're good to go. I got him game points with that chick for sure, because she's just like, whoa, just some old man comes up and gives you gas. Like, and it wasn't a tow truck. I didn't bother him. I could smell the reefer. I'm just like, yeah, dude, peace, word. Like I remember being 16, I'm out. So that's the kind of shit I'll do for my customers.
So dope,
But the
bro.
guys that buy shit on Amazon can fuck off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Those dudes can eat a fucking dick, dude. But like, for real, like, I don't know, PG-13, my bad. Censor
good,
that. But like, like the guys that buy stuff from me, I will go beyond the Call of Duty for them.
Right.
Like I had one customer, I won't say the names because I don't want to use them as a marketing ploy. His mother passed away sadly in a motorcycle wreck. She was a sweetheart, loved her like a sister. I cried a lot when I heard she died, right? And he needs some help with the funeral expenses. And he was a customer, loyal customer. I helped him out. No questions asked. Didn't advertise, didn't brag, didn't want to use the marketing ploy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just wanted to help out because these people are cool. But if someone buys something online, wants me to set it up, they're a dick. They have no respect for me. But if someone has bought something for me, either even once, I don't care if it's just a set of hardware, I will do something like that for them because I got love. But like usually the hookups guys, no, it's impossible. You can't make them happy no matter what. You can't make. There's other weird OCD maniacs you can't make happy. There's the Strokes, which give you a hard time, right? They're the guys that come in, they spend an hour and a half asking how much this is and this is, and you almost have it ready to set up, and then they don't want to spend money. There's the Get Me Dones, which are my favorite customers. There's like, dude, what do you have in 8.25? Okay, cool. What shoes do you have in 10.5? All right, 10.5. Okay, cool. I gotta go. I gotta get back to the park. Peace. Those are my favorite dudes.
Okay.
They're my favorite guys. Like when they treat you like an AM PM. I love those guys. They come there and say, yeah, dude, word up. You got some reds? All right, like, bam, out. Yes, you're my favorite. You're my dude, And then there's these other guys, the engineers. Now, I kind of love the engineers, but sometimes I hate them. And this is the love-skate relationship, skationship, really. So there's some engineers that are neat. They're like the Molins. They're the Andy Andersons. They're the Day One Songs. There's the nerds like me. We get into fun, finite stuff about concave and different resins used between laminates. They're fun, right? And there's a big... a military subsidiary that has arms contracts called Rockwell Collins in Cedar Rapids, and so a lot of engineers work there, and they come into the shop, and they'll ask me questions that are so out of left field. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they'll be like, what exactly is the ounce weight difference between a Thunder and an Indy? And I'm like, what the fuck? I know the Thunder's lighter than Indy, but I don't know the exact ounce difference. So I bought a scale so I could know. Other ones want to know the exact millimeter reading of the thickness of the laminates and boards. So I bought a calipers, a micrometer. I bought a durometer reader for wheels because a lot of times they're like, I bought these wheels. They're not 99A. So I do a durometer test. I'm like, well, they say they're 99A. You're insane. Or, or you're right. These are some shitty wheels. And I'll tell my sales rep that there's 96A, not 99A. So I have to do shit like that. Like, where a skate shop goes that scientific. I have to literally get down to the nitty gritty, bro.
Yeah, ain't nobody doing that, bro. You're doing it.
Thanks, man. I stand there, I'm like, all right, guys, let's get hardcore, let's do this. Let's get more hardcore than a $4 whore. I'll fucking bust all this shit out. So I bust out the whole lab set. I'm like, in science class in here, nerding out. And I love those guys because I'm like, all right, we can geek out. Let's do this, And so, yeah, I mean, I will clean Swiss bearings if you buy them for me free of charge.
Wow.
You come in, I'll put them through the acetone.
Shaker,
I will shake them. I'll shake them up like a bartender. I'm like, hey, you want a martini? Like, what's up, guys? And I'll lay it out on the cloth. I have I have an air compressor. I blow them out. I put lube in there. I do stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
I will put pivot cups. If someone says I need new trucks, I'm like, no, all you need is new pivot cups. They're blown out. Your trucks are fine.
Right.
You know, I will not upsell them ever. I will, you know, that gets return customers because I'm honest. You know, I never upsell anybody. You know, I need new trucks. Now you just need new bushings. You know, like stuff like that. I need a whole new setup. You have one flat spot wheel. Don't worry about it. You just need some new wheels. You know, here's some for $20. Blah blah.
What's your local park over there?
So we have a new park. Well, we had an old park that was there since 1998, long before I lived there. Obviously, I didn't move there until 2012. But it was like one of those prefab steel arc parks. You know, like you know, not fun. I usually skate the mini ramp like a manual pad more or less. You can look up some Cedar Rapids Park stuff.
Okay.
But we have a brand new concrete park that was built by Spawn Ranch that went in about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I believe.
Oh, nice.
And so, you know, it's nice. It's literally right across the bridge from my skate shop. So
Perfect.
it's literally like
Good
from
location.
here to the Aeron Market. What do you say that name?
Airone.
Airone. It's literally the Airone Market distance away. Like it's like 150 yards from my shop.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Which is great, you know, and it always hurts my feelings. I go to the park and I see dudes I know, and they all got like setups from online. I'm like, dude, I'm only 150 yards away, but I don't say anything because I get it. They're busy and they got their own lives and things. But I'm like, man, I would have delivered to your house in a pizza box if that's the thing, you know. Like,
but what if they didn't have what they wanted? What if
exactly?
You didn't have it?
I'll order it in for them. Hell, I'll get it autographed and ordered for them. I had one guy that was a Frankie Hill fan. Right? His wife came in with a Frankie Hill. He's my wife ordered this online. It's a Frankie Hill reissue pal. I was like, dude, you know I made a documentary on that guy, right? I flexed hard. I was like, you should look it up. And I did. I did a documentary on Frankie Hill. You can find it still. YouTube took a lot of it down because a lot of stuff had music right issues and Pal Prof that wasn't happy about certain things. But you can find on Vimeo, or you can find sections of it on YouTube still, of course. You know, I interviewed Guy Mariano and Pat Duffy, blah, blah. I went through a whole all the notables. And I did this documentary, before I left town, when I was still in Southern California, because Frankie wanted to get on Airspeed when I was on there, and I tried to get him on, and then I had my falling out with him, and then I kind of soured the deal, sadly. Sorry, Frank, love you. And so I did that documentary on him, and so I told this guy, I was like, look, man, I can get you an autographed one. Send that back right now to whatever online bullshit. I'll get you an autographed one from Frank himself. And he's like, really? I was like, what'd you pay for that? And he sent me the price, under the price. I was like, I'll match it with an autograph.
Wow.
So he sent it back. He became a loyal customer. And to this day, we're still buddies. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I got Frank an autograph one, and bam, sent it out. And, I got the shipping. I gave Frank, some money because, obviously I'm not a dick. And, yeah.
Obviously.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I've done stuff like that where I've had to just outflex, Same thing with the hookups guys, I'll be like, I can get a Jeremy Klein autograph one. They don't care, though. They don't care about the autograph. They're just perverts. They just want to look at naked Japanese women.
But it trips me out, too, because, I'm trying to think of, the guys at the skate park that are ordering boards. They're not ordering them on Amazon. They're ordering them from other skate shops, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, how does a local skate shop, not, how do they thwart that?
And
how
I don't know
and
I don't know why they don't like me. I think it's just, you're always going to have that for a certain amount of the population that doesn't get along with you, right? You know what I mean? I think some guys just don't like me. I'm too happy. I'm too comedic. I don't know if it's jealousy or it's hatred or it's some, you had Dr. Huberman on here. He mentioned that all hate comes from envy. And you should not be envying me. I mean, look at me. I'm wrinkly. I'm thrashed. I got all kinds of arthritic problems. There's nothing to be envious of. But I think there's certain people, they have they have something under their subdermis in their skin there. They're just mad. Like it's a stick under me.
Or maybe they just don't want to have that,
maybe
they don't want to have that small talk or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a thing,
that might
too.
be.
You have to read the customer.
Yep. And I might talk too much. I think that's why
they're mad that you're just a happy individual, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people don't like that.
No, they don't like that. Yeah, skateboarding is always, like you said, marketed the damaged soul, right? You get it all the time, the mysterious, right? There's a lot of pros where it's like, he doesn't do interviews. Ooh, he's this and he's that. He's mysterious. He only skates at night with the generator, even though he doesn't get busted at the spot, and I think that's the guys that gravitate towards that, right? I don't. I come from that happy-go-lucky, what the fuck? And I think what it is people that, and this is just, I'm not a psychologist, but this is just my interaction through life. You know what I mean? Obviously,
thanks for letting us know. Oh, okay.
Full disclaimer. Full disclaimer.
Totally thought.
It's funny is it's been my experience that the people that act that way usually grew up in a cul-de-sac in the suburbs, have nothing to complain about. And the people that are like me are usually people that dealt with some fucked up shit in their life. Like when you meet someone that's like a boxer, you know what I mean, that came from a fucking gnarly background. There's this dude, Shane McCuddy, in my town, right? Came up in the projects, fucking gnarly, you know what I mean? Grew up in this horrible shit. His mom blew up his house making meth. He had to go into foster care at 10. You know what I mean? He's a badass boxer, local boxer dude on the local circuit. I don't know all the divisions, but he's probably the equivalent of a factory boxer guy, travels and shit, went to the Olympics, didn't enter, but he was there as a support team guy from, Team USA. Anyway, He came to the shop. He's the nicest guy. Comes to the shop. He's happy. He has nothing to prove. Hey, what's up? He's like bubbly like me, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When he goes in the ring, of course you want to fuck with him. He'll fucking break your face. But you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? He grew up with some hard shit, but he's the nicest guy ever. Right. But then you get someone that's like, oh, like I'm pessimistic, and it's like then you find out this dude grew up with a trust fund, and you're like, what the fuck? And like I have nothing against that, by the way. I have a lot of friends from every economic class. I have no classism, by the way. Like I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I grew up with from my Burnside local friends like Josh Falk to my friends that came up and they're born in wealthy families. My friend Max Sokol, who, that grew up with a dad that ran a law firm. So everything between. That's the beauty of skateboarding too. There's none of that. There's none of this the bullshit that sadly separates society. You know what I mean? Like doesn't matter what class you are, race, gender, blah blah blah. Any of the bullshit that's that's been ruining mankind since day one. But I noticed, and that's just my experience. Again, I'm sure there are some of those fractured souls that actually are Charles Bukowski's, that are fractured souls that are like, I write poetry about this is the only thing keeps me alive. I drink to forget my abusive father. I'm sure those dudes exist, but I'm saying the majority, at least 80% of those dudes that just, you're like, why are you even acting like this? You look like a Hot Topic blew up in your fucking face. You know what I mean? Like you're walking by, it blew up and exploded on you. You got all this shit sticking out of your fucking face. You got like, you got like the whatever fucking bullshit band. You got like a bunch of metal sticking out of your head, and you're pissed at me for being happy. You're like, I went to the park, Nate didn't have this. I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. You know what I mean? Like, just grow up already. You're 27, motherfucker.
Like a Hot Topic and you blew up in your
Imagine the IED in the Hot Topic, right? Just like, just a shrapnel, metal everywhere, like nose ring, tongue ring, lip ring, whatever.
Shit,
just pierce me, I don't care where. And it's like usually, and I'm saying, like, when I grew up skating Burnside, obviously, I grew up with guys like Pigpen and Germ and Neil Headings. These dudes had horrible backgrounds, grew up in bad things. They were always the nicest to me. Right. They were always giving me hip hop hugs, loved me, embraced me. I remember one time, this is a crazy story, Jay Muir, great graffiti artist. I'm down there bullshitting with him, and I'm horrible graffiti for the record. I have no can control. Always admired it, never got good at it. Just, I should not be allowed to ever. But I was in the early 90s, right? We all really knew a little bit, And I'm down there, he's trying to teach me how to do outlines and fills, and we're just fucking around the back of the center block wall, right? And this guy shows up. He's like, you fucking suck. And dude, shit you negative, Jamer's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. And everyone just started approaching him from the park. Like it was literally like a armada, like a sea of everyone just kind of looking at him like, dude, what the fuck? Like that's Nate. Like, fuck you. And he just drove off, skidded out, all scared, never saw him again. It was like, so I grew up with guys like that, on one side of town. And like I said, then I grew up with guys like Matt Beach, who had a family that loved him. His dad is a scientist. His dad literally has been working on SIDS, the child, kids get born with this disease that, kills them at birth. His dad's a very educated man. His mom's very sweet. Used to go to his house, get his backyard mini ramp and hang out with him in the GNS days and the Birdhouse days. And Matt Beach, came from that background where everyone loved him. He was very kind, but then I also grew up with the Burnside guys. And so I feel like I'm a pretty good barometer for character, because I've seen the guys like that are nice and always have your back and are cool as shit and funny and happy. And then I've seen the other guys where it's like they're trying to be like, and again, not everybody. I'm sure there's an exception to every rule, of course. Right. But I went back in 2016 to visit friends and family. I went to Burnside and speaking of guys buying shit online, this is hilarious. Again, big shout out to Knight Rider. Big shout out, rest in peace to Elliot Johnson and some of the other guys who were there that day. And Jay Muir, this dude pulls up and he's got a rental car. And it's always obvious, got that little tag in the front, just like I have out there. I'm getting marked too right now, probably. And he gets out, he starts skating around, blah, blah. And it turns out the guy's from Iowa. He's from a suburb of Cedar Rapids. And I was like, oh, what brings you to town? He's like, I'm from outside. He was from oh gosh, what the hell is that? Elkader, Iowa, which is like a suburb, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, Cars, you should come by my shop, dude. And I pull out my car, like, you should swing by my shop. We can skate there too, man. Like, blah, blah, blah. I actually live there and I'm from here. We're trying to bro down. He's like, no, I don't go to shops. I buy everything online. He said that, dude. The whole crew started throwing empty beer cans at him. When Susie dropped in, just empty Rainier cans everywhere. Like they were fucking him over. He's like, dude, what? And they're like, you just need to get out of here, man. You just need to fucking live. Like, because everyone heard that. The guy was really disrespectful to my boy Nate. It was like that kind of level, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, okay, Burnside gets a bad rap, but I don't think anybody has ever gotten beat up at Burnside didn't deserve it. People was like, oh, Burnside, they're hardcore. It's like, no, these are the nicest people in the world. Just don't be a dick. Don't go down there and be a douchebag. You're not going to get fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it is. Like, you go down with respect, you show respect, nothing's going to happen. I mean, I remember some of the earliest female skateboarders I knew, Chloe and Tanya, Rachel Starkweather, whatever, they were skating down there. They were the heshest out women ever, and they would throw it right back at people that gave them shit, and I think that's the reason I was resilient to the pressure of hatred, because I grew up with that, If I didn't grow up with Burnside, I probably would have caved and be like, oh my God, I would have been the guy, I'd been the Hot Topic explosion, you know what I mean? I'd be that guy's like, oh, I'm listening to the Smiths all day, fucking, oh my God, Susie the Banshee's so profound. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that shit. I like hip hop, man. Hip hop really teaches you to fucking, I know I'm gonna sound really cliche, but like that genre of all the genres I've listened to or studied, that's a strong word. Studying's not a word for it, but you know, I listen to everything. It is giving me most of the, it shows anybody that's had to deal with adversity, strife, or anything nefarious can overcome it. You know what I mean? That's all rap is. Mostly there's lyrics about overcoming bullshit. You know, when I listen to like Evidence, who grew up in your neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I listen to, you know, obviously we're talking about Hyro earlier, you know, Living Legends, you know, Anticon in Minnesota, whatever, ID and Abilities, rest in peace to Idea, whatever, we could go on, conscious rap, right? I mean, again, I listen to all hip hop. I don't separate any of them, but you know, it's one of those things where like that's one of those things where I feel like those dudes could go, oh fuck, my life sucks, this shit sucks. But most of those dudes are fucking clever lyricists that, you know, came up with badass shit. I mean, look at Stevie Williams. Look how nice he is when you meet Stevie. He's not a dick. He's not like, oh, I'm fucking hard. He's like, dude, I grew up in some fucked up shit. I can't believe it. My life is perfect. I run DGK. Jesus Christ, this is great. You know, I'm gonna go hard flip front nose that now. I'm gonna deliver a hard flip front nose on the top of the stage now. Thank you very much. I'll sit down and smoke the spliff. How are you doing today, sir? You know what I mean? Like, nicest guy in the world. You know,
he definitely is.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, so when I get those dudes that are doing that shit, usually they have nothing to be about it. But there are certain cases I'm sure they do.
You're gonna run into every type, especially running a business like a brick and mortar store. You're gonna run into everybody.
Everything.
And I think I gather why you have the different classifications of customers.
Yeah, classifications.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it hands-on, like you're the only one there, so you're definitely seeing
every day.
The ups and downs of what humans are coming in there.
Oh, tons, dude. Tons.
Well, I was just going to say, if you are in Cedar Rapids,
Cedar Rapids, Iowa,
go to Eduskate.
I'm 2 hours from Des Moines and 2 hours from Chicago. So if you're driving through nothing but cornfields and soybeans for a million hours, imagine a town for the LA, Los Angelinos is how I say it.
Mm-hmm.
For Los Angeles, imagine a city that's so small that if you went from the farmer's market on Fairfax to Amoeba Records on Sunset, and that was the city limits, and then nothing but cornfields for 2 hours in each direction.
Wow.
That's what I live in, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's very small. It's very tight knit. It's a great place. Only 100,000 people, but everyone's really nice. I get along with a lot of people. Man, that's such an old photo. Some dude surprised me with that weird tombstone or that ugly longboard. He meant well. I didn't really like it. That just ended up there one day, and it was too heavy for me to lift up because I don't have upper body strength. But this guy, Mitch Wagner, who's buff as shit, picked it up for me and threw it in the dumpster. And he's a nice guy, but, you know, come on, look at that. That's just cheesy, that longboard. But out of all the photos, definitely the photo of the... I love it. Like, when you Google it, that's the one, you know, whatever. I don't know. Who knows? My wife...
It's on your website, bro.
Oh, it is? Man, my wife...
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking to my wife about that.
You were going to get a new photo up there.
I'm going to call her tonight, you know. But, I mean, you know, that's my shop. That's my humble little slice of heaven, you know, and... You know, it's, you know, I love that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I'm not near any other shops. So there's no pugilistic attitudes. There's no negative adversity. You know what I mean?
You're just doing your thing.
Yeah, just doing my thing.
Yeah,
and
that's why you're there.
Yeah, it's a great environment. I'd say 90% of the community supports me. And, you know, I love everyone supporting me. Everyone's ever bought anything for me. Thank you. And, you know, I just, you know, like I said, man, I went into it very naive, you know, and I learned as I went. You know, I didn't take business classes. I didn't graduate skate from college. I attempted to go. You know, I took night classes. Then, like I said, skateboarding kept pulling me back in, a bad drug that it is. You know, bad skateboarding ruining my existence. And remember that shirt says "skateboarding ruined my life." I don't know who made it, but it was so poetic. It was fitting. Whoever wrote that, I think it was like Karma Toshtoff, or it seemed like someone like that. You know.
Well, I'm just glad you're having a good time, and I'm just glad that you kept skating throughout the whole pressure flip. You know,
hiatus.
But you made your own lane, you know, and I think that's awesome, you know, and
thank you, man.
Just everybody embraced it.
It means a lot to me, man. Yeah, I'm so honored. Of course, I can't believe how big pressure flips are now. I mean, like, you get on the gram and people always tag me and stuff, and it's so funny. They must think I'm still young. Look, this guy pressure flipped the Hollywood 16. You should go there and try pressure flip. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm 45 years old, bro. The only thing I'm going to do to the Hollywood 16 is end up in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but you're
you know, like, man.
Well, you're known for the You're the dude. You're PFK.
PFK. That's what I was looking for. PFK. Got me chicks in high school, man.
PFK.
Amen to all those dudes that call me that.
We got the PFK.
Shout out to Edison High School in Beaverton, Oregon, man. Thomas Edison. Yeah.
No,
it wasn't for the dudes there, man. But yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me, guys, and I'm just so honored to see it through the ups and downs. You know, I just look at skateboarding right now, like it's in a low state because it's just like 1990, 1991. Remember that when that happened? All your homies quit to get, Honda Civics, and everybody got into, hypercolor t-shirts and snap-on bracelets and wanted to play basketball instead of, starter jackets, You know what I mean? No one skated. Yeah, he's a little younger than this, but yeah, no, and it's like everyone quit, but you kept skating, obviously, Totally. All of us in this room obviously did, And, what happened was, I believe that there's the populations died down because there's less, millennials having kids, right? There's more dogs than kids. I mean, I'm included in that. I don't have a kid, so I can't talk shit, but there's a mixture of that. There's also the economy, and there's also the fact that, a lot of people are scared of getting hurt. I have a lot of people that come back and they're like, can I return this? I'm like, well, there's 4 scratches on it. What'd you do? They're like, well, I fell once. I didn't know it was going to hurt. I'm like, yeah, that's what skateboarding is. It's like selling you boxing gloves. No shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you not know this going into this? That this is like, this is a combat deal,
concrete is not soft.
It's not soft. Yeah, it's not forgiving. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go and I bought some boxing gloves from this place called Super Rare in New York City a month ago. And I just been hitting I'm not going to ever box with anyone because of my, obviously my skull injury and everything, but I love hitting the fast bag in the gym and hitting the heavy bag. And it's a good workout. It's a great workout. Good cardio, man. And also I'm starting to get an upper body at some point, which I'm 45 just now working on that for the first time,
Hey,
so it's sick,
late.
Yeah. My lady likes that. It's cool.
Okay.
Throwing some left hooks, right jabs, uppercuts, crosses, but it's like skateboarding's like that. So where I'm blown away, especially during COVID. There was a lot of people who got they bought one step and they were done. I think that was the thing too, is the Facebook Marketplace got oversaturated with used boards because all those people fell once and they quit. You know what I mean? So that kind of ruined a lot of small shops. And then the other thing that's ruining small shops, we all have to make our bread. Again, I rode for Walmart, so please, I can't throw stones in a glass house. There's a lot of wood manufacturers that are doing these crazy OEM deals where it's like, some kid is like got, $2,000 to his name. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a company called Boy Skateboards. Right. It'll look just like Girl, and these guys will print it, and I'll sell them in my trunk at the skate park. And you're like, dude, what? Whatever. I'm making that name up, by the way. I don't know if anyone's done anything that horrible, but
for sure.
There was one guy came in my town that was selling boards of his trunk at the park. Germ Skateboards, and it wasn't Tyrone Olson's Germ Skateboards, because remember Tyrone Olson had that brand and killed it. I had to school him. And I'm only 2 hours from Madison where Tyrone grew up. Because is Tyrone Olson like this? He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I got to start this. He just did some stupid boop, 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 boop on the phone, and all of a sudden he has a brand and a fake promo, And we come from the school and the thought we're like, to be a pro skater, you had to earn it. It was like earning a boxing belt. You know what I mean? Like it's earning a title. Like how many times I went up and down the I-5 smelling cow shit through the Central Valley just to get one clip at Lockwood. How many times I went to E&B and fucking had to deal with James Kelch, whatever. Like all the weird shit I dealt with just to become a professional skateboarder. And this guy now just boop boop boop. Look, it's my name's on there. No, I'm pro. I can kickflip up a curb. No, I'm pro. You're like, fuck you, dude. Like all my friends, like we have scars, we have surgeries, we've been through hell. Like this is a disrespect to the whole fucking art form. Like imagine if I could just buy a title belt. Say, I beat Mike Tyson. Like I just bought this belt online. And it's the exact replica of the WCB fucking. Can you imagine how many boxers would kick my ass? Like, holy shit, dude. Evander Holyfield would fuck me up, dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing where it's sacred to us. This is religious to us, and it's very sickening that companies have lowered their standards so much they have to do that. I get it. We have to eat. We have health insurance, but still, to that standard, it should be more regularly skated. You know what I mean?
Times are changing, dude. How are you? It's a tough. But I agree on some certain aspects of that for sure.
Like it's interesting because of course, we're guilty of it too as shop boards, right? We don't put names on them, but where do you cut it off, right? Like where does it go to that full, like where's ground zero? I remember Jaime Thomas years ago, love Jamie, by the way. He actually helped me get my shop going. That's a weird story in itself. I actually went over to Black Box when I was talking about starting a shop, and I was like, what kind of advice do you have, for starting a shop? And by the way, I'll loop back to that in a second, but I remember he had that whole anti-blank thing, like, like if shops stop carrying blanks, we'll give them this kind of discount and stuff. And that was before I started a shop. This is like 2005 or something when he was doing that Crossroads trade show in his parking lot, with all the brands, And big shout out to Jim Thiebaud at Deluxe. They do great things for small shops too, They really do it well. They're the homies for sure. Love those guys. Jim, love you, man. But Jamie, I went there and had like a little sensei moment, and he did the math on how much I'd have to sell to stay in business when I told him what my rent was going to be, because I already had the spot scoped out and everything else. I'm about to move. He's like, you're going to need to sell $200 worth of product today. And so to this day, I still, even with inflation, I'm like, I got still $200 worth of stuff, you know. And that was not net, that was, you know, gross. But
Sure.
But you know, still it was cool. Like every day, I'm still like $200. Jaime Thomas rule. As long as it's $200, I'm not going under. Some days I don't. Some days I don't. Other days I do. Yeah, Jaime Thomas taught me that. He told me at that time, and that was 2012. He had the stats. I don't know how. Ask Jamie. He's the smart one, not me. Obviously, I'm not the smart one. I'm trying to be comedic with that. But he had a stat that on average 40 shops a year go out of business, and that was back in 2012. You know, before now. Yeah. You know, and you know, I think he might have even been toying with the idea of starting a shop back in his hometown in Alabama or whatever. But you know, it's one of those things where, you know, like a lot of them fail, and don't be a cool guy, don't be a dick, like you said. Be nice to everybody. Yeah. The people that are assholes to you and have no respect for you, why kiss their ass? Because they're never going to come back to you no matter what you do. Like, it's very rare.
It's very rare that works. I mean, Supreme is not the anomaly of that. Like, you can't be a fucking dick in this, especially right now.
Oh, yes.
Like, no, that's not going to work.
Amen. Yeah, especially right now. No, it's true, especially right now, man, because like you said, it's, you know, the economy sucks, everything else, you know, and like I said, all those people I'm talking shit about on here, these are people who've never bought one thing from me. I would never talk shit about anyone who's ever buying through me. I love everyone that supported me and kept me in business and kept my rent going. Mm-hmm. But everyone that comes in and then they stroke you for a month and you see them at the park and you're skating and they got something they bought online instead of what they could have bought from you, or you order, the worst is when you order something for them and they never call you back and they ghost you, then you see them at the park with the same thing you ordered in. That happened with a chocolate Justin Eldridge board once. I ordered in a chocolate for just especially for this guy. He ghosted me on the phone. I go to the park a month later and he's riding that same board we got online. So that was the guys I talk shit about on here, not the guys that support me. You know, guys that just do mean shit, you know, dudes that break into your shop, dudes that stroke, you know what I mean? There's a million of those. But again, I would never talk shit about a customer. You know, I love my customers. They keep me from not being in a tent down the street on Venice Boulevard, you know? But I find it really comical how, you know, like there's certain brands that are like, you know, we're all for the small shop and they you know, they practice what they preach, and other ones don't. And I'm not gonna say names, but you know, that's the other thing that's hurting shops too, is like, you know, skate shop day is always big for us. Right. Because the limited edition shit they can't put online, you know? Right. You know, and again, big props to Deluxe on that. We do really well in skate shop day. I paid for my flight out here, skate shop day. Thank you, everybody bought something that day. That's how I came here to hang with these guys. Perfect time. You know, big props. So Deluxe paid for this trip in a weird way. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jim. And you know, but like, you know, we always do well, but it's only because it's stuff they can't match online. Right. And during COVID, when everything was limited and no one could buy stuff online, I had all these dudes coming I'd never seen in my life. They were strictly online diet, you know, and I look at it as like a diet. I'm on the online diet. Oh, that's interesting. Have you ever thought about mixing it up a little bit with the skate shop diet? Oh, really? Is that a thing? It's actually healthy. I heard it keeps your community alive and helps keep it vibrant with the local skateboards, and we support things. We do community service acts and we have contests and you know, raffles. And I used to have a pool table. We have pool games and you know, whatever, video trivia, you know, whatever, blah, blah. We have a chessboard. You can, you know, practice, you know, whatever. And, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you try to preach that and then you show them that you know, most pros, they all came up through a shop. I mean, like what was your shop out of curiosity?
My first local shop was Valley Skate and Surf and then Val Surf.
It was Val Surf.
Is still
I love Val Surf. You guys used to do the Hub of Free Sundays there. I used to enter those, the manual pad contest off the bump.
What's the other shop you used to
Blue Alliance. Oh, but Blue Alliance was very short-lived.
Oh, was it?
Okay. Like Valencia, right? And
no, in the Valley. So this was Chatsworth for Blue Alliance and Northridge for Val Surf.
Yeah, man. Because you grew up out
in the Valley.
In the Valley, man. The Valley, sick, dude. Yeah. Oh man. So gosh, a lot of heads came out of there. My gosh, legends.
We got some people coming out of the Valley for sure.
Amazing. I mean, I always think of the guy who had the museum help me out. The big skate.
Yeah, Simi Valley. So Simi Valley is not the Valley, but as you know.
I flipped it, didn't I? Yeah. I'm thinking.
Just you offended Jerron.
I did. I got the wrong valley.
No, but it's a hop, step, and a jump.
Yeah, I'm flipping it. What was the name of that park, though? Damn it.
Skate Lab. Skate Lab, yes.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. But yes, the other, I'm sorry, I remember going to the Valley with someone on a filming trip. And they said, yeah, Jerron grew up here. And I remember that. I remember skating some legends there. I was about to say P-Rod came out of that. I was about to say, I think Paul came out of there. Yeah. I'm sorry I flipped my valleys. My LA knowledge is kind of loose right now. 13 years of being in the Midwest. My brain's still thawing up from the 20 below weather.
I'm just always quick to correct somebody.
No, thank you. No, and thank you for it. Because my geography gets down. When I first moved to LA, you guys are going to laugh at me. This is how bad my geography was. I used to call Sepulveda Sepulveda. Yeah. And Sue and those guys never correct me because they thought it was funny. And then what else? I had another one I butchered. Sepulveda was one. There was another one too I butchered, and they just thought it was like the way.
The GPS. If you put the GPS on, it'll
well,
be
now
like,
it's GPS, but yeah, the valley is totally different than Semi Valley. Yeah, I don't know why I thought Simi. I get Simi Valley and the Valley mixed up. I promise. That's another thing about me. I got dyslexia severely. I was in special ed as a kid for it, so I apologize for flipping those two towns. Dude. I don't want to flip. It's like flipping, Norwalk and Long Beach or something. Like you know what I mean? Like, I don't be that guy. I feel bad. I apologize. Donuts on me. All right, I'll go to Randy's Donuts.
Nate, we're good, bro. Duran is. You guys could settle this after the show.
We'll settle after the show, man. I'll take him out.
Gloves.
Oh yeah, boxing gloves, man.
No, but dude, this has been amazing.
Hell yeah.
We'll wrap it up, and dude, congratulations on the shop. 13 years, you said.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, if you are in the Iowa area, Cedar Rapids,
yes, sir.
Go check out Nate Sherwood. Go have a conversation with him. You can measure some trucks. You can weigh some trucks. You can check out your durometer of your wheel.
Exactly.
You could wrap it up with Nate Sherwood. You can even do a pressure flip in the store.
I used to do them all the time.
Watch some old VHS tapes.
That's right. That's right.
And before my hip surgery, I would do pressure flips on the spot for people all the time. And then after
you need to bring that back.
I need to now because before hip surgery, I would do it all the time, and I'd pull weird muscles and get hurt doing it. Like I would show off and do I would do like carpet board tray pressure flips and stuff.
After this trip, you got to go back, and we're going to do the pressure flip a day in the shop.
Oh wow!
I'll try.
Yeah,
I'll see where my body's at, but I'll try.
You don't have to listen to me either. I know what I'm talking about.
And also, congratulations to you, gentlemen, because you guys been on this for what? I mean, it's got to be close to a decade, right?
9 years, yeah.
I was going to say it's almost a decade.
This is the 9th.
9 years of the 9th club.
I know.
Dude, that's how symbolic.
We're done after this. Yeah.
Just done.
Done. We're 9 years.
Wow, dude. You're gonna be like Rec One.
I think you're our last episode. Actually,
like the built for Cuban links, man. It's built for Cuban links style, just like Rec One it, dude. Like
Rec One.
Yeah, just be like, no, that's all I'm doing. You know,
we're done.
We're done.
Nate.
Yes, sir.
Can we give you some 9 Club stuff? Do you have a room in your suitcase?
I told my wife I'm about to sign to a new hardware sponsor. That's 9 Club. I said I'm coming back with some.
He's excited for the
hardware sponsor. I said, Lindsay,
the word's getting out.
The hardware company's hitting me up, and I love the coffee mug. I kept spacing my carry-on for it. And I am a large hoodie, and I'm a large long sleeve.
Kelly, we do the honors, bro.
Don't confuse Cedar Rapids with Grand Rapids. That's where Josh Kalis lives. He lives east of Chicago. I live west of Chicago, and they both were settled by the same dude a million years ago.
Michigan and Iowa.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But yeah, we both
settled by the same person.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The same guy was a foot trapper dude.
Real quick, before we get, I cannot leave this conversation without asking you the appreciation, all the skate.
Yeah, man. It all started. Yeah, it's interesting how it started. And, I wanted to name my shop Landlocked Skate Shop originally.
Okay.
Or Insect, because there's a lot of insects out in the Midwest. Like, it's just in the summer, you just swarm with them. I was going to name it Insect, but I didn't want to sound like Subsect, which is 2 hours away. I didn't want to sound like I was stepping on Heath or Dan Rogers or Kevin Jones' feet. And Landlocked was perfect because there's no water around me, right?
Thank you, Kelly.
But then I realized there was another shop that actually went out of business named Landlocked somewhere else, and no, it was Lock Line or something. No, it wasn't Landlocked. It was similar.
No. Hold on. You're going into the skate shop stuff, but this came way before the skate shop.
It did. But I named it Eduskate because I knew I was going to a small town where I had to educate people on skateboarding. Okay. But you're right. But the dictionary started in high school, man, and that all comes from hip hop. Because you think about hip hop, everyone makes up different words all the time, and slang becomes mainstream. I mean, look at grandma saying, "Look at my bling" now. Right? You think of, when whoever it was, Lil Wayne or whomever, I could be wrong, was doing bling bling, whatever, cash money, right? So things start in hip hop and then they become natural vernacular. Now you get judges like using hip hop words, like I'm getting props. Like I had a cop saying this graffiti writer tagged up my window in my shop and I didn't care about it. And the cop's like, hey, there's a tag on your window. Do you want us to do anything about it? I was like, nah, man, I don't care. He's like, he's probably giving you props anyway. I was like, yeah, I don't care, dude. I'm cool with tags, And I was like, there's a cop using the word props? Like, that's crazy. It's cool to see cops skating now. I have a lot of customers that are cops that skate. Shout out to Mitch we were talking about him, Long Beach guy.
Chuck Wampler.
Chuck Wampler. Oh my gosh, I just dyslexic his name. Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. And Chuck Wampler, he was like the first cop skater. Well, Mickey Reyes was around then too. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy because my whole life I've been running from the cops, getting tackled, getting my boards confiscated, getting tickets, and now I'm skating down the street and like I was telling Duran earlier.
Confiscated.
Did you catch that, Kelly?
I did. I was like,
wait a minute, he didn't. Wait, that's a real word. Actually, confiscated.
And they'll be like, do a kickflip, and they're in their cop car. I'm like, sure. I'm just like, this is weird. I'm not used to it. They'll come in the shop all in their uniform. Like, I need a set of reds, dude. I'm like, dude, what?
So it came from hip hop and making up words and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think of all the vernacular. me our slang, props, glizzy, whatever. I don't care.
Glizzy.
Whatever, right? Whatever, right? And that's a newer one, but
I love that you're on it.
Word up, right? Let's think about something from our generation. Let's think about some stuff from our time period, like fly. Before fly was like I'm flying an airplane. Now it's like, oh, that looks fly.
Yeah.
I mean, a million words. I mean,
There's
help
so
me
many.
out.
I mean, you just named a few. Like,
and it's like I was super into hip hop in high school. I mean, I still am. I never wanted. I have the horrible voice. I have no sense of rhythm. I should never be a rapper or a DJ or anything. I'm a fan, but I'm never be one of those guys that gets on a mic and does a freestyle or anything.
I'm just curious on the words.
And so,
did you ask? While I was gone, did you ask what the confiscate thing? Or
just the word, the
so in high school,
the language.
I was in English class. Shout out to Patrick Fleming, my English teacher, my junior year of high school. Severely dyslexic. I always struggle with reading. I always struggle with writing because of my dyslexia. And I always had a lot of nervous tics because of my Tourette syndrome. And I was definitely a weirdo in school too, just like I was in skateboarding. That's why it wasn't that strange for me to be a weirdo. I was always a loner and whatnot, I guess. Outcast. That's a stupid word. I'm not gonna use that. But he had me write reports or write poems or write book, all the shit they do in high school. You know what I mean? Write, whatever, papers on books. And I would start throwing skateboards, and he's like, "You should just do that. That'd be comical. Like that'd be cool." He wanted to encourage it because he knew it was a way for me to learn.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I used to spell words wrong all the time. So I put skate in, then I would actually learn the vernacular way of spelling them, and help me with my predicates, nouns, and verbs, and blah blah blah.
Crazy.
So isn't that weird? So I did that because of hip hop, and that was just my way of I don't know. That's a strong word. Contribution is a strong word, but that was like my thing is like, like I said, I listen to hip hop all the time. I still do. That's all I listen to in my car. I was listening to J. the Damager on my way over here today.
Oh, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, fuck yeah. Dude, Esau, dude, absolutely, dude.
Super conscious back then of like what he was saying.
Oh, heavy, dude. I know. There's a hole in the ozone layer. Do you think I give a fuck who's the biggest player? Think about that. That's heavy, dude. Climate change shit back in 1996, right?
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, your steak on your plate's full of chemicals. I mean, dude, fucking genius. I love Jay the Damager. I love Gangster. I love Group Home. I love all that shit.
Just that era was just
word.
the best.
I mean, dude, when Mobb Deep.
Well, they were telling stories also.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was
God,
KRS-One.
KRS-One, yeah. I remember on an American Misfits trip on one of our tours to New York, we stayed at Vinnie Ponte. And
Vinnie Ponte has everything, bro. He's a very advocate of music, especially hip hop.
Isn't he amazing? So versatile. Yeah. He had the keyboard that Mobb Deep used for Shook One in his apartment.
Wow.
And it still had the recording of the DAT recorder in it. And we played the beat. Good. Dun, 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 dun. That was in his apartment. Like me and Ted Newsom and Laban, all those dudes were crashing out. He's like, "You like rap music, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, Vin, of course I do. Like, I live for it." And he's like, "Well, check this out." Goes into this room, pulls out this keyboard. I'm like, "Dude, wow, yeah, Mobb Deep." He's like, "No, this is the keyboard from the studio." And he's like, went on this long Vinnie Ponte, like my homie worked in the studio. Vinny's got all these connections. He's like the most connected guy ever. I love that guy. Like, literally knows so many people. Like, he's just like, I got a guy for that. Just like, hey, he's Vinnie Ponte. Like, I love that dude. Love staying with him. Love hanging out with him on that tour. But yeah, I mean, and that to go back to that. My thing was, I was like, just how rappers, poets mess with words and change them around. Okay. It doesn't, like you said, what doesn't matter who it is in the rap game. I wanted to do it with skating, and that was my thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Listen to Snoop and some of the stuff he does with those words.
Well, it's funny because when JC's back here to talk, he takes photos.
Oh, yeah,
and
JC.
He runs a Google
Props to
thing.
JC, my man.
But he was like,
yeah.
He's like, when you started saying like, "Oh, I appreciate skating," he's like, "I've heard the lore." So people have heard that.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way I speak. The only time I don't talk like that is when I'm around really old people that look at me weird and it's outside of skateboarding. Or like if I'm at a funeral or wedding. But yeah.
Or your wife's in-laws.
Yes, exactly. Yes, especially
your
now.
in-laws.
But what about you're pissed off or something? Are you still throwing?
Oh yeah, I get fucking irritated.
Fucking skate you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, literally, dude. I get frustrated, man. I get irritated. Okay. It's a bad situation, man.
Hold on. We got to first of all. Let me wrap this up.
The same
dude.
Yeah. Don't be regurgitating those. No, you got to wrap.
We got a couple things for you here. Hold on. Let's settle down. Hip
hop.
Give him a hug.
I'll go back and make it bad on Bagley back there. Sorry, Bagley.
No.
We're popping the mics.
Bagley's back there. JC's back there.
So sick. That was a good one. That was solid.
That was solid.
That other one was weak. Like
a little weak. We had to make it up.
That was weak like clock radio speakers.
Hold on.
You know what I mean? Feminine like sandals. Who is that quote? If someone can name that right now.
That's the Jizza.
Yes.
No, wait.
Oh, it is. Yes, it's the Jizza.
The genius.
The Jizza genius, dude. Yes, I saw him perform when I was sitting a couple months ago.
Feminine like sandals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And I don't sleep because it's the cousin of death. Now that's Nas, but I use that a lot because I hate sleeping. My wife always gets mad. She's like, "You need more sleep." I'm like, "Fuck you." Nas told me not to.
Here's a
Nas told me not to sleep. She's like,
Yeti.
Here's some coffee.
Here's a Yeti. Yeah, for more coffee. Yeti's a good supporter of the show, man. And this is this is our third. It fits right in the cup holder. You know, I hope you got enough room in the bag.
I do.
Okay.
I literally didn't pack. Like my wife's like, "Don't want to pack this and stuff." I'm like, no, I'm getting 9 Club swag.
Right.
Fuck that.
Well, actually, you didn't know that
Chicago.
though. You didn't know that. I mean, we
oh, you're right. You could have been like, "Fuck you. You're a B list." Yeah.
B-lister.
Yeah. Like in the green room, like, sorry. Now, Nathan, when you go out there, I always love that when you're on talk shows. Now, when you go out there, remember.
How do you know when you're on talk shows?
Well, I used to be on the Daily Habit on Fuel TV. So I did a lot of work with those guys. Okay. I did a lot of stuff with Captain Casey, a lot of stuff. Obviously, American Misfits. I had my section on there.
Rest in peace, Chris Casey.
Yes, what a great guy. He was so.
We have the mug behind you. Look, Captain Casey show right there.
Yeah, I was devastated, dude. He was such a great guy. I remember.
Here's a mug.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was involved in all that stuff. But yeah, So yes,
that was a great.
I remember getting briefed before I went on the Daily Habit, where they're like, they had this production assistant, like, now Kane, remember to face, whatever. It was always very comical. It was funny. Anyway, I'll shut up. You guys got things to do. Everything's to listen to me gab on all night here.
Hat, 9 Club hat.
Yes. I need a hat. Look at my long hippie hair, man. I can't see where I'm going right now. I'm looking like Nate Jones, not Nate Sherwood. You know what I mean? Hey, love Nate Jones. I love Nate Jones. Good guy. Dude, I don't know where he is now.
Here's a 9 Club
crew neck.
Dude.
Oh yes, I need to stay warm. I'm flying through Chicago. I'm supposed to be below 0 that day, so I'm gonna be chilling O'Hare.
If you want a hoodie too, we got you a hoodie also. But here's a couple, things right there for you,
Pass
bro.
It on. Pass the hoodie to the left hand side.
Here's some stickers. 9 Club stickers.
Yeah.
I know you did get the cover of Big Brother, but
I did.
If you do get the cover ever again,
$20 USD.
There you go. You already know the drill, dude.
I know. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna microdose Michael Burnett and get him high, and I'm gonna go shoot with him, and I'm gonna go up to, I'm gonna go to SF, and I'm gonna break in, and I'm gonna lay out that cover just like you guys did in the taco video where Dale Castillo where they did the covers.
Taco tour.
Thank you. I knew I was gonna. I thought that, but I didn't want to. I didn't want. Yes,
Danny Mnemonic.
I'm gonna totally do the Danny Mnemonic thing, and I'm gonna get a cover and get $20 from me, bro.
There you go.
I'm gonna get a hacker, get a hold of a hacker just for 20 bones.
Here's a Skull Candy. They are a supporter of the show. These are the Rail ANCs.
Dude,
these are the earbuds.
Yeah,
so they work on the phone. They work everywhere. These
they're
are
Bluetooth.
Great, man. Yeah, they're Bluetooth. They come with a little case here. You could charge them and everything. That's for you. That's a plane ride home.
Yes, sir.
How long is a plane ride?
4.5 hours.
Oh, they're chilling.
You know what's so neat? Is I'm all about chords because I'm an old guy, right? Mm-hmm. And lately, as I go to the gym boxing, I'm listening to hip hop, and the chord gets in the way.
Right.
And so I've been thinking about buying, what's the word? Wi-Fi.
Earbuds.
And so thank you, man. I will wear these because the United Airlines earphones suck.
Yeah.
They gave me these really shitty ones. Like, you can't turn up the volume. I'm like, dude, I want to damage my hearing, bro. Like, what are you doing here? You only
need one of those, right?
Yeah, I only need one. Yeah, I can give the other one to John. I only need one. I only have one ear, so I only need. It's so funny because people always try to talk in my different when I have one earphone in, like through my life. But I always wear double so they don't get confused, man. That's actually how I fly most days.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it is a bad situation,
And listen.
Oh, big shout to Mike Chin, by the way, in Portland. Big shout to him. He was the first friend of mine that understood I was deaf in my right ear and actually would purposely go to the left side of me to talk to me. Because all my other friends it wouldn't sink in. But he was the first guy I'd hang with. I'd be at Burnside, be like, "Hey, Nate, how's it going?" He would purposely walk to that side. So big shout to Mike Chin. Big shout to Dan Lafferty, Josh Beaudry, Dave Hupp. Those guys were all early, big in my recovery from my head injury when I was 15 years old. So if it wasn't for those guys, who knows? They were supportive of me getting back on the board and being in my corner when I was, down and out. So that was 30 years ago. I know 30 years for a shout out, but thank you.
Never too late.
Right.
Never too late for a shout out.
Yeah, man.
Also, as you called it out before, here's our nuts and bolts company.
I'm making my contract out. Hold on, I got my lawyer.
Whoa.
I'm fucking with you.
You've been a contract for us.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you guys, man. I'm just kidding, man. Come on,
you were scared.
I can barely. Dude, I'm an old, washed-up has-been. I do not take myself serious when I'm skating.
Here is
at all. Trust me.
First package. As a team rider, everybody on the show is a team rider.
6 months each pack. I got to rethread them.
Yeah.
I know. I heard about that. You had the retap and die kit. I know. Yeah. So that's a year's worth right there.
Year's worth of bolts,
dude,
man. 2 bolts.
Yes.
Every 6 months, change them out.
Club.
2-pack.
T9 Club. I'm in the house like rugs and drapes. On point like a tattoo.
How do you get more energy throughout the day?
Because you gave me a bunch of fucking coffee.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Dude, I should have ate that edible that homeboy was offering me, but then I wouldn't be able to drive back to Echo Park. Can you imagine driving through Echo Park, on Glendale Boulevard on those little tiny back streets in Laban and Sioux's neighborhood, where you have to parallel park on like a dime, like, under the influence of anything.
We don't want you driving high, dude.
Dude, no,
Okay.
me either, bro.
Listen.
Like, dude, I would fucking wrap that car around a telephone pole.
That'd
be James Dean,
Okay, listen, don't say it.
Don't say it.
I'm James
We
Dean
want you to make it
bro.
back okay.
That's happened to
It's
James
gonna be
Dean,
good.
wasn't it? Now I know how he died.
Yeah.
I know how he died. He ate an edible and fucking, drove the Porsche into a wall.
I don't think
Dude,
he did. I don't think
Paul
he did.
Walker? Nah, whatever. Anyway, go on.
Whoa.
Yeah, you see that? That hit close to home. Kelly got a little worried. That hit too close to home. I know when my stand-up comedy gets bad when you can see that he was like, oh, that's too recent.
Nate, thank you, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate. Excuse me. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You do.
Yes.
This has been a bucket list dream. I've always loved your guys' show. I love that you're former journalism. Because most people, they have the set questions.
Journalism
That's why I love that.
We just talk.
It feels like you're just
shit.
it just feels like you're hanging out with some friends. It just feels like fifth period between work study call.
Exactly.
Where you're just like, hey, we're in the hallway talking about skateboarding, And I love the way it feels because when I worked at Transworld, everything else comes from a background where everything has to be edited down really short and to the concise. Like you started skating when 1987 March.
Right.
What was your first board? Tom Crawl Skate Vision.
This
what was
is
your
more
last
of a
board?
conversation.
Yeah.
It's more of just, hey, we want to get to know Nate Sherwood, and I got to know probably more than I wanted to know about Nate Sherwood. You know what I mean? And it's been beautiful, bro.
Oh, man.
It's been
It's been
beautiful.
amazing,
Go Dodgers.
Hell yeah.
They just won the World Series, man.
They did.
Sue was telling me dudes were burning cars on his street and shit and blowing up fucking buses and stuff.
I don't understand why cities do that.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
either.
either.
When they win, they just go completely
Bro,
tear up their own city.
I remember
don't
I was
get
in Vancouver, British Columbia during Slam Stage Jam one year. You guys were probably there too. I want to say it was 99 or 2000. It's
Yeah,
a
I was
blur.
there.
You were there too when the Canucks won the hockey, whatever the hell it's called, the Stanley Cup.
I think I can recall.
Oh my God. I remember being in
little
Lower
weird.
Hastings Street. Fuck yeah. Things were burning. Shit was fuckers dumping over dumpsters. And I'm sitting there in a hotel room. I'm like a shy 20, whatever. Like, oh my God, what the fuck? Just dudes breaking shit. And dude, yeah. And I remember Tampa won something too when I was in Tampa. I don't remember some teams. Yeah. Why do cities do it? What's the psychology behind that? Why is it, we won. Let's fuck some shit up. Like,
They're
someone
happy.
explain that to me?
It's happy.
It's
That's
just,
happy.
it's happy.
That's
It's like
happy.
when we focus a board after pulling a trick. It's like Rick Howard and Yeah Right when he did at 7th Street in San Pedro.
Yes.
Front 180, fakie pivot, front side half cab flip out,
Yep.
rolls away, sweaty mess, hair falling out.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason he has a receding hairline. He wouldn't otherwise. I think he had a full head of hair, but that stress made him have it. Rick, dude, go get some Rogaine. You're on this. And I think it's only because of that trick. It made his hair melt. Like he would have had a full head of hair. I'm just trying to be funny. Love you, man. Please don't kill me or cut my account. I need you. Anyway, anyway, I'm trying to be humorous. I'm a failed stand-up comic. Anyway, and he's like sweaty and bloody. He just focuses his board. Remember that? Yeah. It's like, I think that's what happens with, there it is. Beautiful. And I think that's what happens with cities when their team wins, whatever accolade in sports. See, look at him. Look at that shirt, dude. Just sweaty mess, like wrinkled as fuck. I tried to replicate that, by the way. I went there with Chris Raymond years ago. And Rick was there, and he was laughing because I was trying to replicate that, just jokingly.
No way.
Yeah, you can if you look up Guy Mario and Nate Sherwood 7th Street School on YouTube, you can find it. It's like one of those weird videos that got a lot of hits for some reason. But yeah, Guy Mario's trying front 180 pivot, Rick flip out actually, and I do like some pressure, tray pressure of 50. I'm trying to nollie big spin out. And we're both eating shit. And then I joke around with Chris, and I actually kind of reenact that a little bit, which is funny. But Rick was there, and he just kind of looks at me like, dude, whatever. Like, he knew I was reenacting. I looked down like, Right. This was like during the fully flared filming, And
That's funny.
yeah, Chris Ray he knew what I was up to, But yeah.
All right.
I love, but yeah, I'm sorry. We'll shut up.
Thank you so much.
On that note,
Appreciate
love
you.
you, Rick. Please don't
Appreciate
cancel my
you.
Yeah,
Good.
And
Thank you.
thank you. I just
Yeah.
want to thank one last thing before I quit.
Go ahead, please.
I'd like to thank skateboarding for, I know it's cliche, but not only keeping me alive, but also giving me a time in my life where I could follow my dream and make a living at it. And also everyone that ever supported me, everybody, even the haters, thank you for giving me fuel for the fire. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there. And I want to, most importantly, thank you guys for inviting me into this wonderful studio and to be able to hang out and rap with you about the wonderful world and all the multi-layered fabrics of this beautiful onion called skateboarding that's sometimes sneaky but sometimes tasty.
Great way to put it.
If it's
Great way
cooked
to
right,
put
it's
it.
tasty.
Yeah.
If it's Mongo, it tastes bad. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It can be like, and burn your eyeballs sometimes,
That's
but it can
right.
also be the greatest thing when it's deep fried,
Well, we
You already
appreciate
know.
you, Nate.
Yeah,
Thank you so
right
much.
back to you guys. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Been an honor.
Dude, thank you.
Adios, amigos.
My
Good
man.
night.
Dude, that was amazing.
Thank you, man.
Great, dude.